is one of the landmark buildings in college hockey, Mariucci Arena in Minneapolis, where tonight NCAA Productions presents the 2000 Division I Ice Hockey Championship. Today's first round West Region matchup features the 6th seed, the Purple Eagles of Niagara University, against the 3rd seed, the Wildcats of the University of New Hampshire. Hi again, everyone. Delighted to be back with you. Sean Grandy and Tom Reed. We're going to have a great weekend, but how about this for a contrast of programs in the opening matchup? We start with New Hampshire, a national power, back-to-back trips to the Frozen Four, and although, Tom, they are not the offensive powerhouse they were a year ago, they're very comfortable putting things on the shoulders of the guy they feel is the best goaltender in the country in Ty Conklin.
Well, the one thing, Sean, when you lose players who can score goals, you have to depend on goaltending. Your game plan changes just a little bit, and Ty Conklin is one of those guys who can make it work for them. He's a Hobey Baker finalist, Hockey East Co-Player of the Year with Mike Mono of BC, and he's a guy that also can make the things happen for him. He's very strong between the pipes of this team.
A deserving Hobey Baker finalist. Well, is there a better story in all of college athletics right now than Niagara University hockey? 4 years ago, there was no Niagara hockey. 2 years ago, they were playing some of their league games outdoors, and yet here they are under the spotlight in the big dance. But before anybody, Tom, cries Cinderella, I've got some things to tell you. This team has won 29 games. They lead the nation in goals against. They are jam-packed with seniors. And boy, they are playing with house money right now.
And Sean, they don't have to worry about which end to take, which way the wind is blowing, because they have got a team that can make some things happen. They started out just 4 years ago, as you mentioned, with 27 seniors on the squad. Right now, 13 of those seniors are on the ice, and you can bet they're going to get some strong play. They're the unknown right now. They'll play hard.
Kyle Martin, Mike Isher with those guys are hoping the wind will blow their way tonight. They're looking to prove they deserve it be in this tournament. New Hampshire and Niagara opening face-off is next. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship.
What makes the perfect sandwich? Russer Deli Meats. Delicious Russer ham, irresistible Russer bologna, savory Russer salami, and a complete line of Russer light and fat-free cold cuts. Made with only the freshest meats, the finest natural spices. And Russer is made hometown hearty right here in Western New York. So look for delicious Russer meats at your local deli and look forward to the perfect sandwich. Russer, quality deli meats.
In today's world, it's hard to find time to get the quality nutrition we need to build lean, healthy bodies. That's why Fitness Made Simple is offering the Lean Machine Fat-Burning Muscle Building System, featuring the new Lean Machine Meal Replacement Bars. Give your body what it needs to create the physique you want. Order the Lean Machine System and get 1 box of 12 high-protein Lean Machine bars, a copy of the best-selling Fitness Made Simple video, and an audio cassette on effective fat loss supplements.
Going deep with Chris Myers.
Dealing with the celebrity part of it, and when does it become too much?
This is not easy.
This is no longer a sports problem, it's a social issue.
Let's talk about the facts. Is he a danger to society?
I have a lot to be mad about, but who does it?
The sport itself may need a complete overhaul.
I knew that it couldn't get any worse.
So who would you say you trust the most?
There's so much at stake now.
It's about getting it right.
Going deep with Chris Myers. Move to Sunday at 7 on Empire.
1 year ago, the New Hampshire Wildcats came within inches of a national championship, losing to Maine in overtime in the title game. This year, they enter the tournament as the 3 seed in the West Region. Facing Niagara, the winner of this game gets North Dakota tomorrow night. Of course, Maine, top seed in the top half of this bracket. But the Fighting Sioux will just sit and watch this game. They are playing very well right now.
Well, there's no question. In order to get to this tournament, you have to be playing well all the way around. You look at these teams right now, what they've accomplished getting to this stage. But right now, the players realize the importance of every shift on the ice. Every time they touch the puck, they have to make sure what they're going to do with that puck. They can't give it away errantly. And these teams in this tournament are very well coached, and you'll see these guys step up for these games coming up.
Boston College, Michigan State will be our late game here in Minneapolis tonight. The Hobie Baker finalist, maybe the best goalie in the country. They sure think so in Durham, New Hampshire. Ty Conklin, he has been spectacular.
Well, he has been all season long. He's a big, rangy kid, also at 6 foot, 180 pounds. And from October 30th through January 7th, he went with 12 victories and 1 tie in that stretch. And goaltending is critical. If you're going to win playoff games, you have to have it. At the opposite end, obviously, also Greg Gardner. 9 assists he's had in the last 2 years, Sean, and that tells you something about how good he is with his stick and what he can do once he gets control of that puck.
An NCAA record 12 shutouts this year. It is unlikely, unless you are a college hockey fanatic, that you know the name Greg Gardner, the Niagara goaltender. By the time this night is over, you will. Niagara University won College Hockey America. There was no automatic bid. It was an at-large bid, a dream for this program to be playing in this tournament. Dick Umili, the head coach of New Hampshire, trying to steer his team through against the underdog. Both Dick Umili and that man, Blaise McDonald, named today as finalists for the Penrose Trophy for National Coach of the Year. Blaise McDonald, longtime assistant at Boston University, left BU to start a program from scratch in 1995. They played their first game in 1996. All the seniors on this team, Tom, came to Niagara with nothing but promises. There was no program there when they got there.
Yeah, and of course, none of their players were recruited by Division I teams. Blaise McDonald also is the CHA Coach of the Year, so he has brought this team to some new heights, and he knows very well that this team has got to perform. With 13 seniors on your squad, it's going to be a little dismal next year in that regard because he'll only have 2 juniors that are in the lineup right now. So he knows this is a very important year for his team and this program.
When the brackets came out, they exploded at Niagara. The 2000 NCAA Hockey Tournament is underway. For some of us, we consider this the greatest show on earth. Mike Souza rolls it in deep into the Niagara zone, chasing there Timo Macklin, junior defenseman for Niagara. New Hampshire will try to put the pressure on early. Jason Shapolsky for John Sadowski. This is the S line for New Hampshire. Played together much of last year, sparingly this year. They have been reunited for this game. New Hampshire was beaten in the semifinals of the Hockey East Tournament by Boston College 1 week ago. Jason Shapolsky, chased by Kyle Martin for Niagara along the wall, brings it back to Dan Enders, the glue of this New Hampshire defense. Let's go! Chris McKenzie for Niagara for Jake Kasperk. Lead ahead on left wing, too far, they're offside.
Kasperk just a little bit quick coming over that blue, but trying to get good possession of that puck. He's one of the seniors we talked about, played for the Niagara Scenics of the Metro Junior Toronto League. And he's a very gritty type of player. Dick Umili looking to his lineup right now. He knows that one of the strengths of his team is the goaltender, but also the defensive play. The weakness, he says, is our lack of scoring. He says, we've got to make sure we get on that board first and go from there.
Dick Umili guiding New Hampshire into this tournament for the 7th time in his 10 years. The program had only been to the dance 4 times prior to him taking over. Darren Haydar, an explosive winger. Lead too far for Lanny Gare, rolling in deep, easily knocked aside. With the back checking of Mikko Savonin. Out through center ice. Mike Fisher with the Niagara captain turned away. Colin Rose tried to roll it in for Niagara. Haydar is onside. Has a man breaking in deep. Gare stopped point blank by Greg Gardner.
Oh, what a play by Lanny Gare, the freshman forward out of Vernon, BC. He takes the pass perfectly, coming across into that center ice position, but he cannot put it away. And that was a big plus for the Purple Eagles right now to be able to make that play and stop him from going in. You watch here as Garrett just breaks him behind the defense. He's looking to go on the stick side, but once again, goaltending is key, and Gardner comes up big.
Lanny Gare scored a spectacular goal against Boston College in the Hockey East semifinals 1 week ago. If the name sounds familiar, maybe you remember his uncle, Danny Gare, part of one of the great lines in NHL history. Puck rolled through off the faceoff win. Gardner forced to make a tough stop. New Hampshire, a very good face-off team, and they win a big one in the offensive zone. Patrick Foley, true freshman for New Hampshire. In the corner now with Jim Abbott getting a chance to play, throws it through. Foley couldn't control. Sean Austin will at the blue line. Austin rolls it in deep. Freshman Ryan Harris for Niagara there to pick it off. Mazoin could not clear. It's in the middle. Sebastian gobbles it up, and we'll start out for Niagara. This is the speed line. Dumping by Sebastian. Niagara will go on a change. And let's talk about it right away. The Olympic-size ice here at Mariucci Arena. New Hampshire plays on an Olympic sheet at home.
Yeah, they're used to it, John. The big thing is that Niagara is not that, and that was one of the concerns that Blaise McDonald had coming into this building with this big ice surface, 3,000 more square feet to work with. He said we haven't played on this surface enough to really be familiar with it, so it's going to be a detriment to our team play.
Blaise McDonald plays 4 lines. 4th line is on there now. DiCaprio turns it over at his own blue line, has it back, starts out 2-on-3. Chris McKenzie, the defenseman, jumping into the play on the far side. Caprio rolls it in deep from Morris. Morris pulls it away from Eric Lind along the wall. Enders chases for New Hampshire. Both of these teams very good defensive teams, but the Purple Eagles clearly will play it close to the vest on the Olympic-size ice, especially in the early going while they get a feel for it. But these teams practiced here yesterday. Ryan Cordero, sophomore for New Hampshire. Pulled down by McKenzie, no call. Cordero brings it back to the point. Garrett Stafford, a freshman from Los Angeles, pitches in. Stafford tried to put it to the middle, knocked away by Timo Makela. Stafford will chase it down. Drive by White, kicked away by Gardner. Greg Gardner is getting tested here early on, and John Marshall will lift it up and out of the Niagara bench. So some early chances for UNH, but Greg Gardner holds his ground. We're scoreless after 3 minutes. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA.
Very quickly, but you're right, Sean. 3 shots in this game right now, all taken by the Wildcats. They have been putting the pressure on it. They've got a very quick team, very explosive team, and you can bet they'll be going to that end every time they get that puck. They're going to test Gardner to see how he holds up.
There's the 4th shot. Off another offensive zone faceoff win. Mike Souza, the Iron Man captain for New Hampshire, put it back to the point. The shot by Mark White, steer the side. New Hampshire's top line reunited for this game. Colin Rose, the Niagara defenseman, rolls around to the far side. Peter DeSantis could not clear, one of many Niagara seniors. These are names that you will not be very familiar with as we move along today. Playing in relative anonymity and very often on the road. Niagara played only 12 home games this year of the 40 games they have played. They have been a traveling bunch. Garrett Stafford for New Hampshire. Sends Sadowski into the zone, but ahead of the play by a step on left wing and offside was Darren Hagar.
Well, you talk about the Purple Eagles and that travel schedule. 12 home games, and you're traveling that much. I think that Blaise McDonald said their team traveled something like 18,000 miles this year to play their games. But in order to get recognition, to get the games he wanted to play, he had to do that. But his record against the 4 big divisions coming in was very good. Against the ECAC, he had 4 victories in that one. CCHA had a 4 there. East a couple, and against the WCHA, beat Colorado College at one point. So they seem to perform very well. Now that this is really a true test for them.
9-6-2 this year against the Big 4 conferences. Isherwood, the Niagara captain, across the line, rolls it through and hit off the back of Matt Swain, who was back checking, and almost caught Ty Conklin, who has not yet been tested in this game. First offensive flurry here for Niagara as they try to put the pressure on. Gare for New Hampshire races to the loose puck, knocks it away from Savona. Sean Austin gobbles it up for UNH, rolls it up the wall and out the center. Darwin Murray, defenseman for Niagara, sends it back in deep. Austin retreats. See how comfortable the New Hampshire defensemen are with the Olympic-size ice. Haydar, in deep, has Lanny Gear going to the net, waiting for a trailer. Puck though knocked away by the freshman Randy Harris. UNH, 23 wins this year. Only 5 wins in their last 15 games coming into the national tournament. They have played some spectacular hockey in the month of March the last couple of years, but they have not been a great team in February. Jim Abbott across the line. Freshman is slowed down. Harris across the line for Niagara, puts it to the middle, nobody there, and Conklin will send it ahead to Walsh. Will be a 2-on-1 developing, and it is. Across the line comes Abbott, his shot knocked away. Great defense. That's Timo Makela.
And that's one of the keys to play defensively, especially when you have a 2-on-1 situation. You saw Abbott coming down there with Foley, and all of a sudden Makela just stays right in the middle of the junior defenseman. On a 2-on-1, you want to stay there. You're trying to slow the play down so you can get some help. You can see the player coming back to help out, but Makela just comes down, times it perfectly, goes down with his stick flat on the ice to be able to deflect that puck away from the pass being made and taking away a good scoring opportunity for the Wildcats.
This game, as we said, will face North Dakota tomorrow night in the quarterfinals, and obviously New Hampshire has had virtually all attack zone time in the 5-1 shot advantage since we began. Colin Rose, Niagara defenseman, flips it out to center ice. Doubled up there by Adam Morris. Morris tries to roll it in deep. Niagara going on the attack. John Marshall, co-captain, 4th line right wing as a senior. He's kicked away by Dan Enders. Lead too far for the freshman Hemingway, and end up in the crowd, and Niagara will finally get a face-off in the offensive zone. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. 5:40 gone by in the first period at Mariucci Arena. A feeling out process, especially for the Purple Eagles of Niagara. So much emotion riding this week, getting the at-large bid of the tournament, and it's quite another getting ready to play the game and then actually being out there and trying to work through the butterflies. Shapolsky has a man breaking in deep. He threw it behind Mike Souza. Souza keeps it alive offensively. Nifty pass into the corner. Shapolsky has it, tried to work it back to the point, but it was poked away out the center. Wildcats have to reset. Handrahan, the defenseman, wanted to play it, but the goaltender Gardner wanted it away from him as soon as possible, and Kasperk will clear it down the length of the ice. It will not be icing. Conklin will leave it for Garrett Stafford. White the lead to everybody. Misses Sadowski. That will be icing against New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a young team defensively. They lost some key players back there last year, and Steve O'Brien and Jamie Filipowicz. Dick Umile, as you mentioned, one of the finalists for National Coach of the Year, has guided his team through what most people feel is the most difficult conference in college hockey, and did a nice job to keep the team in the top 10 all year.
Well, he certainly did, and when you look at his lineup right now, 6 freshmen in the lineup, and that lends itself to tell you that he's recruited quite well here and is very confident in those players. But this team has also got some speed out here, and that's one thing the Purple Eagles have got to contend with. They've got to try and keep that momentum down as much as they can, especially early on, until they get more relaxed in this tournament environment.
Lanny Gare across the line. Hadar, the goal scorer, goes to the net. He was run out of the play by Isherwood. Off the back wall, Darwin Murray has to begin the Niagara rush, and the Purple Eagles having trouble getting out of their own zone. John Heffernan. He's back to his defenseman, Bazoyan. For Murray, pressured by Lanny Gare. Finally, on the second try, Bazoyan will bring it out to center. Heffernan will roll it in deep, and Niagara will go on a line change as opposed to forecheck. Blaze McDonald trying to get all of his players a feel for the ice here in the first period, get them comfortable in the game. Swain across the line for New Hampshire. Stepping across him is Scott McDonald. Hadar, though, pulls it off the wall. Has Gare going to the net. Backhands it in deep in the corner. New Hampshire knows how to play with the deep corners on the big sheet of ice. McDonald can't pull it off the wall. Swain does, throws it through, nobody there. And the Purple Eagles have a chance 2-on-1 to catch New Hampshire in the break. Harris shot deflected in! Ryan Harris breaks the ice for Niagara on just their second shot of the period.
Well, a good shot coming down. Whenever you get the chance, you want to get the shot to the net. He takes a shot. Sean Austin, the junior defenseman, tries to block it. He gets a piece of it. Goes off his stick just enough to change direction and beat his netminder. Ty Conklin is in a position to be able to take that shot, but with that quick deflection, all of a sudden, it changes the speed of the puck. It changes direction a little bit. It's in the net. A 1-0 lead right now for Niagara, scoring the first goal of this game. That coming at 7:23 of the first period. And just their second shot.
And their first shot, you'll recall, got deflected in on Ty Conklin. So he is having a rough start here. He's gotten no shots to get himself in the game, no clean looks. Both shots on him have been deflected, and the second one ends up behind him. It is the 12th goal of the year for Randy Harris, the freshman on a team chock full of seniors. It is the 2 freshmen, Harris and Sebastian, who hook up on the first Niagara goal. And folks, when the Purple Eagles score first this year, they are 24-1-1.
And that first goal, Sean, is a big uplift for this team right now, too. It's a confidence builder to be able to come here to thwart the efforts right now of the Wildcats. In the first 5 shots coming towards their net and come in here and drop it in the net is, I think, something that will give them a lot more confidence as this game unfolds.
So much going on in the minds of Niagara. Their coaching staff and players really felt this week they were forced to defend their selection in this tournament when, if you look at the numbers and the math, it's not very difficult to defend. This Niagara team deserves to be here. There were some good teams, as there always are, that don't get in, but Niagara did everything they could possibly do within their power to earn this at-large bid.
And there's a look at Randy Harris. This team coming into the tournament scored 160 goals this year, giving up just 60, so you know they've got some explosive people out there. And Blaze McDonald, who also serves as their golf coach, has done a good job of blending these kids together. Even before the game and yesterday at practice, how uplifting he was against, getting them involved, getting them for a feel of what this is going to be like. And they have responded by scoring the first and only goal of this game.
It is a dream come true. The target for this program, and it was an optimistic one, was to try to make the NCAA tournament by their 5th year. Instead, it is year number 4, and the freshmen who came to start the program in 1996, where there had been no program before, now playing the seniors in the tournament. Josh Pruden, the freshman, bounces one in, lifted it up high, and Gardner, a big goaltender, held his ground.
Well, Pruden, that's the advantage of being a large goaltender and staying in your upright position. Pruden came in there, he makes the right play, and as he comes in, he goes to the backhand. He's forced the backhand by the defenseman. He can't go to the forehand. He tries to go up high, and when you're a goaltender, a lot of goaltenders go down. All of a sudden, that open area comes above their shoulder. By staying up there, he's able to close it down.
Greg Gardner with 12 shutouts in one season. That is a new NCAA record. Josh Pruden, the freshman out of Andover, Massachusetts, who had the quality chance for New Hampshire. Top line on now for UNH. Sadowski wins the draw. Tried to win it to Jason Shapolsky instead. The Purple Eagles will control. Peter DeSantis, the senior, will roll it deep into the Wildcat zone, chased there by Dan Andrews. Andrews, who played his junior hockey in this part of the country in Green Bay, Wisconsin, as did Ty Conklin, the goaltender. They won a junior national championship here together. DeSantis tried to roll it out in front for Kyle Martin, a dangerous goal scorer. Martin swoops in on the loose puck, gonna walk out in front. Martin scores! Oh my goodness! Kyle Martin has given Niagara a 2-0 first period lead.
Well, as I said before, Sean, this team is really the unknown, but they deserve, and you've mentioned it time and time again, they deserve to be here. You can see right now this team is picking up their pace. They were a little lax coming in here at first, and I think just the jitters is a result of that, but all of a sudden now you can see this team starting to develop, getting those shots and picking up their second goal of the game, that coming at 9 minutes and 6 seconds of the period. And what a big goal that is for this team also, because as he took that pass in from the side from DeSantis, and also Kasparek is going to get the other assist on that. You can see how the opening is at the side. He just has enough room, and this is a guy who can put the puck in the net.
Kyle Martin scored 4 goals 2 weeks ago to become MVP of the first College Hockey America Conference Tournament. New Hampshire has had the better of the play, and all of a sudden, 9 minutes plus into the game, the 2 biggest goals in Niagara University hockey history have been put behind Ty Conklin.
Well, boy, I think perhaps that the Wildcats right now sitting back thinking, what do we have to do here? But this is not an easy position. 2-0 is not a insurmountable lead, especially at this stage of the game. There's lots of time left here, and Dick Umelli knows full well that he's got to get his horses going here a little bit, and they have to find some way to beat goaltender Greg Gardner.
Niagara has only given up 1.5 goals per game, a goal and a half per game, and you're saying, well, yeah, that was against the easy schedule, but those numbers in their games against the top 4 conferences hold up. Even against the top 4 conferences, their goals against average is under 2 a game. Lanny Gare has the defenseman White going to the net. Hadar, quick shot deflected wide. You know the message on the New Hampshire bench was put the puck on net.
That's right, and not only put on net, but have somebody going for the net. The one thing that the Niagara team does so well, the Eagles, is coming back as they get their bodies, they get their sticks in front of the puck all the time. Kyle Martin comes in and gives this team a big lift right now, and by playing solid defensive hockey gives him opportunities up front to score those goals. They don't need a lot of goals to win games if you don't give up a lot of goals.
You gotta wonder, is Blaze McDonald now, who for a week has been pumping his team up about getting in the tournament, now has the very difficult responsibility of keeping his team's emotions down with a 2-0 lead.
Right, he's got to contain them right now. The one thing is when you have a lead like this too, you don't want to become relaxed and think, well, this isn't so difficult, because it gets more tougher, or a little bit tougher as you go along.
I wonder if Ty Conklin wouldn't have been better off getting some shots on goal against him early on instead of the difficult one. Chris Sebastian, the freshman, has it poked away by a freshman defenseman for New Hampshire, Kevin Trulson. Gare chases, won't get there. Colin Rose for Niagara gobbles it up. Now the Eagles all of a sudden with the lead, looking more comfortable on the big sheet of ice. He said all the teams practiced here yesterday that will play tonight. Niagara played on an Olympic-sized sheet earlier this year and beat Colorado College. Darren Hadar rolls in deep for UNH. Wildcats go on a player change. Nate Handrahan, assistant captain, defenseman for Niagara, rolls it back out to center. They will be very methodical, especially with the lead. Eric Lynn sends it in deep. Rose moves to the far side. John Marshall pokes it around the wall. DiCaprio cannot clear on the first try. On the second try, John Marshall will move it out to center. And our first penalty of the game is going to put Niagara on the power play when we return with a chance to make it 3-0. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA.
Patrick Foley, he'll pick up a slashing call at 9:20 of the first period. His team is down already. See if we can pick up here. Watch in front of the net. A little slash right there. And so as a result, his team is a man short.
Foley, the freshman who was kicked out, got a game misconduct in Hansen's last game, the hockey semifinals against BC. Sits it out. Niagara has the best power play percentage in the country. That, however, does have an asterisk. As you said, a lot of these Niagara numbers hold up when playing the top teams in the country, but the power play numbers really do not. 28% of the year leads the NCAA, 19% against teams still very respectable in the top 4 conferences. Kasparek is knocked down. Mark White will get there. Clear ahead to Sadowski. He will walk it up. Hockey East best defensive forward. Making a shot on Gardner, but he does put it on goal, and Gardner is forced to cover it up. Sadowski gets a face-off in the offensive zone.
So Sadowski does a nice job of taking that pass from Dan Enders back in his own zone. Enders did a nice job of grabbing the puck in the corner, then moving it up nice and high where all of a sudden Sadowski uses his hand, then coming down the ice. And what he's trying to do in this situation is just kill the clock off as much as he can, and if the opportunities do arise, take the shot towards the net.
New Hampshire's penalty killing, which has gotten better as the season has gone along. You saw the numbers at 84%. They killed off a 5-minute major in the game against BC. It was significant. Another offensive zone face-off win. That results in a quick shot from Souza. The Wildcats out shooting Niagara 7-3 in the first period, but you see the story on the top left of your screen. Andy Harris and Kyle Martin have the goals for Niagara here in the first period. Adar shorthanded for New Hampshire. Time remaining on the Niagara power play. Savona at center for Niagara takes the bump from Hadar. Puck in the zone, but Isherwood can't get there. Austin retreats. Wrap around the wall. Souza trying to get it out to center, can't do it. Kept in by Handrahan, but he turns it over to Hadar. Nifty little behind the back pass looking for Souza. Colin Rose broke that up. Niagara getting a little bit fancy, and as good a team as this is,
oh boy,
don't want to be matching skill with the New Hampshire Wildcats, and now penalties called as Rose and Hadar got tied up.
Well, Hadar grabbed down at the stick of Rose and kind of pulled him, and then when that little shot came back from Hadar, then all of a sudden the gloves got up, the sticks got up a little bit, and so we'll have penalties called on both players. Those penalties will come at 12 minutes and 7 seconds of the first period. Once right in the center ice area, you're going to see these two players come together, and all of us, good little exchange too of that puck, of moving it back and forth. There's a little grab by the stick right there. There's nothing more frustrating from a player standpoint. Hadar does that, then comes back with the first good left that he threw towards his opponent there. And so they both go to the box.
If you are new to the game of college hockey, and we trust some of you along this weekend will be, as you look at Blaze McDonald, you will notice the sticks tend to get a little high because players wear the full face shields, and the merits of that face shield within the college hockey world are constantly being debated. They often result in some high sticks and some fearlessness on behalf of the players on the ice. Timo Makala for Niagara, lead on the left side, too far for DeSantis. He will chase in deep. The goaltender Conklin is there to fire it around the wall. McKenzie pinching in for the point. Will hold it in long enough for Kyle Martin to get there. Final seconds of a Niagara power play. Makala through traffic, deflected just wide. Power play is over. Foley back on the ice. Team's at full strength. McKenzie rolls it in deep. Martin going to try to play it off the wall. Does out in front. Quick shot. Kasparek turned away by Conklin. And that's the first big save Conklin has made. First shot probably he has had a clean look at too, and it comes 13 minutes into the game. Niagara did not have a shot on that power play, but they had a quality chance coming right after it was over. Cordero for Josh Pruden, the freshman coming in 1-on-2. Pruden with a shot. Gardner holds his ground.
Well, that penalty proves to be very costly right now to the Wildcats because Haydar, with the roughing call, also picked up a 10-minute misconduct, and he's the #1 player on that team, along with Mike Souza, leading in points with 40 points. So you need players like that on the ice rather than being in that penalty box. But he must have said something to the official, Don Adam, who was out of the WCHA. The assistant referees are Bill Jones out of the ECAC and Jeff Fulton, also out of the ECAC. Now there's a look at Don Adam right now discussing with the official at the timekeeper's bench what's going on. Everything seems to be in control.
That will keep Darren Haydar out for the remainder of the first period and into the second.
And John, you've seen it before. That's a big loss when you lose players of that caliber. You need them to be on the ice producing, especially when your team's behind by a score of 2-0. Frustration starts to set in a little bit. You do things maybe you would not ordinarily do.
How many offensive zone face-off wins now, Tom? Is that for New Hampshire? And it's going to give him a point-blank shot for Souza. Blocked on the way. Fat rebound. It is gobbled up and cleared out of there by Chris Sebastian, the fastest player on this Niagara team. Sebastian rolling around Sean Austin. Puts it side of the net. Did not make its way out front. Ryan Harris in deep for McDonald. Look at this freshman line. Sebastian and Harris have scored the game's first goal. Both freshmen. Sebastian almost set up Harris for another one. Harris cycling down low. This is where Niagara is playing their game. Wildcat breakout looking for Hemingway. Broken up by Darwin Murray. Kevin Trulson, freshman defenseman for New Hampshire. Austin the lead. Souza sends it in. Has a man. Walsh couldn't control it. And New Hampshire is offside. New Hampshire, if you're just joining us, controlled the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game, but as soon as Niagara scored their first goal, Blaise McDonald's club was suddenly filled with confidence.
Well, goaltending is once again the key to keeping a team in contention here right now, and Niagara is able to do that. Purple Eagles goaltender Greg Gardner, 24 years of age, makes a tremendous save right here. You see the puck shot coming in by Souza right in the midsection. As you mentioned, Sean, big rebound coming back out there, but gets the help from his defensive core back there to get the puck out of the zone.
Greg Gardner has won 63 of the 77 games that Niagara University has won in the program's history. All the top schools that have played against him this year have raved that he is a big-time goaltender. And in this tournament, sometimes that's what it comes down to. White for New Hampshire, retreating. Beats a second man, carries in. White. Run out of the wall, run to the wall now by Handrahan. Eagles can't clear. Stafford shot blocked on the way. 5 Niagara players all back deep in the zone, and Handrahan will clear at the center. Garrett Stafford for Mark White. UNH having trouble getting through center ice now. Niagara is leaving 4 guys in the neutral zone, and the Wildcats are having trouble. Allen rolls out to center ice. Mike Isherwood, the Niagara captain, rolls it in deep. Well, the complexion of this game just changed dramatically when Niagara scored the first goal. Shapolsky has Gare into the zone. Gare holding, waiting for help. Rolls it across. Here's Enders with some room. Enders shot sails by. Gare off the half wall. Rolls it in deep. McKenzie for Heffernan, and he will clear all the way through center. It is not going to be icing. They wave it off at the last second. Niagara in the middle of a player change. Enders ahead to Gare. Now he took himself offside. 4:16 to go in the first period. Landy Gare and the Wildcats have their hands full. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. An Saturday afternoon doubleheader of NCAA tournament hockey. I can't imagine anything better than that. Ticket start just $18 for the session. This is the top teams in the country. BU, St. Cloud, Michigan, perennial national power against Colgate tomorrow in the East Regional. Pepsi Arena, great place to watch a game. There have been some great regional games in the East in that building, and promises to be another good regional. I was a little surprised that Blaise McDonald and Niagara did not end up in the East Regional, and St. Cloud State from the WCHA, who plays about 45 minutes up the road, surprised they were not in the West Region.
Yeah, I think a lot of people from this area especially were looking for St. Cloud to come here to be more of an attraction here, but For whatever reason, that is not the way it is, but you can bet. And what a better way, I guess, to spend a Saturday afternoon than watching some of these combatants. And a lot of these players will be in the NHL someday.
White shot sails wide. Shapolsky the rebound chance. And Gardner again is there.
He's very quick with that glove of his. He has good concentration where that puck is being shot from. He may not always be able to see it, but he knows how to position himself that that puck gets through, that he's able to be in front of it.
One more look.
You watch here the reach he's got, but look how quickly he goes down and is able to get right back up and square in on that puck. Gets those pads right together. There's no room for a 5-hole for that puck to get between it.
Gardner, 24-year-old senior in Mississauga, Ontario, and not only a lot of seniors on this Niagara team, this is far and away the oldest team in the tournament. Average age of Niagara University players is 23.
Yeah, this is an older team. There's no question. When you look at the fact they have one 25-year-old on the team, they have two 24s, 6 23s, and 8 22s. And he had to go over against some pretty tough competition to get players to come here. He couldn't go to those players who were a little bit younger who wanted to go and play Division I, so he went after some of the players who had a little more experience, and it's proven to be a good move for them as they get into this tournament for the first time.
Well, they will be the first to tell you at Niagara, most of these players were not recruited by Division I schools. These are the players that were the leftover players, the ones that slipped through the cracks, the land of misfit toys. But the land of misfit toys is up 2-0 on a national power here in the first period in the opening game of the Y2K NCAA hockey tournament. Jason Shapolsky off the back wall for UNH, pressured by Kyle Martin. UNH trying to cycle down low, get some attack zone time. They already have 12 shots on goal and have not beaten Gardner yet. Souza in the middle, tried to get it up high. It was blocked on the way. Eagles will control and clear to center.
And I'll tell you, they're getting a lot of help back there from the defense and also the forwards coming back in deep to act as defense when necessary.
S-line back on the attack, and Sadowski's shot is gloved down by Gardner.
The one thing the Purple Eagles have is they have tenacity. They do not stop for anything. They will grit it out. They'll make sure that if the puck goes in the zone, they've got somebody right on top of the puck here. There's no room to move out here, even though it's a big ice service. That does not seem to affect their game. Early on it seemed to. All of a sudden they come back and they're right in on top of it.
Blaze McDonald is probably writing down, win a defensive zone faceoff. Add some years to my life.
Or how to.
Blaze McDonald probably lost a couple of years off his life last weekend. Niagara did not play. Their conference tournament was 2 weeks ago, so as Blaze McDonald described it, the biggest weekend in Niagara University hockey was last weekend, and they didn't even play. They had to sit and watch all the other conference tournaments and hope for no upsets from Nebraska Omaha, from RPI.
And you can imagine how exciting that would be to sit there and finally hear your name mentioned that you're going to the big dance.
A lot of media there in the Buffalo, Niagara Falls area, and the players, as you can imagine, went berserk when they saw their name up on the screen. Randy Harris, who has the first goal in this game, rolls it in deep, but there's an unoccupied wing. Cordero the other way for New Hampshire. Blocked down by Harris. And now Niagara doing a great job standing up UNH at the line. That was Darwin Murray. Kevin Trulson looking for his classmate, Colin Hemingway. A freshman on the ice for New Hampshire. They are a very young team as well. Suffered a lot of losses from that team that went to the national championship game a year ago.
The one thing that the Purple Eagles are doing right now is they're changing very quickly. They know it's a big ice service. Maybe perhaps they want to make sure they got freshness all the time. They make the play over the red line, down in, and then they get off the ice.
Andrehan behind his own net for Colin Rose. Now the lead for Morris. Avoided the hit of Jim Abbott. Enders rolls it in deep for the Wildcats, who go and chase. Andrehan has it picked off by Swain. Throws it to the middle. It is blocked on the way. I got a feeling as long as this score stays the same, we're going to see a lot of activity in the Niagara zone.
I think you're absolutely right.
New Hampshire has outshot Niagara 12-6 in the first period. That and 50 cents will get Nicky Milley a cup of coffee right now. Dan Enders. Over across for Eric Lynn. Andrehan is there. And clearly, to survive the first 5 or 6 minutes as Niagara did, it was critical. They got a fortunate bounce on the goal by Randy Harris that opened the scoring, and then a great play from Kyle Martin. And now they can really settle into their game through neutral ice with a 2-0 lead. First McKenzie across the line. McKenzie with a shot. Sails wide. Lanny Gare going to gobble this up for UNH. 2-on-3, but his pass hits the tape of Abbott perfectly. But he's got two guys to beat. Timo Makala takes the body, and Chris McKenzie takes the puck. McKenzie tried to hit DeSantis. That would have been a 2-on-1. Instead, it hit DeSantis' skate. Souza rolls it in, but already in the zone offside was John Sadowski.
Well, once again, Sadowski doing a good job of getting in position to take the puck, but a little bit too quick to get over that blue line. It results in the offside call against his team. Wildcats pressing here right now. They've outshot the Purple Eagles 12-6 in the game, but they trail by 2 goals, 2-0, and they have got to get something going. Nothing better to give them that big lift than going in that dressing room with a goal, and that's what they're trying to accomplish at this moment.
Niagara, as I mentioned, when scoring first, 24-1-1 this year. They began this week with a quest to prove that they belong. Now they're just trying to get to the second round. DeSantis in deep. We've seen over the past week as Souza rolls it in deep for Sadowski. That is broken up. Handrahan gets back. Penalty call. New Hampshire will go to the power play.
Well, that's pressing towards the net, and right now Niagara will go as a man short. The puck was going into the center ice area. Sadowski going for that puck, trying to get to it, but at the same time, the assistant captain knocks him right down, and that means that Hanrahan will go to the penalty box as you look at the top of the screen right now, and he'll spend his 2 minutes in there for high sticking as he got the stick up a little bit high. Sometimes penalties are good, and as he took his man in there, he wanted to make sure that Sadowski could not get to that puck and control it. Got the stick up, and so he is called.
Now, all year long in Durham, New Hampshire, it was a topic that got a little ugly, and that was New Hampshire's power play. It was a difficult year for UNH with the man advantage, around 12-13% all year long, and obviously they have plenty of offensive talent, but you need puck luck, you need the right players out there, and it was a struggle all year long. Sadowski, Souza, Shapolsky, Abbott, a forward, freshman, and White is the power play unit here. You see the time remaining in the first period as New Hampshire goes to the power play for the first time. Niagara, third in the nation, killing penalties at 88%, and those numbers do hold up against the top teams.
Right, and even on that draw, Isherwood finally wins a draw for Niagara in their own zone. They're able to get the puck all the way down to complete that long pass to make sure they kill off that clock.
Final seconds of period number 1, a surprising period it has been. Wildcats trying to steal one if they can get a shot off. Colin Rose is going to make sure they don't. And the first 20 minutes of NCAA Tournament hockey in Niagara University history are 20 minutes to remember for Blaise McDonald.
Well, no question. Right now he feels somewhat comfortable. He's got the lead, and that's where he wanted to be going into the dressing room. A number of fans coming here from the Niagara region to lend support to their team right now, and it's going to be up to New Hampshire to come back in here to see if they can get something going in this second period. But they've not need to regroup. They're trying to play a little brand of physical play, trying to take the Purple Eagles out of this game, but that has not been successful at this stage.
Randy Harris and Kyle Martin have the goals for Niagara. 20 minutes in, a 2-0 lead for the 6th seed, the Purple Eagles of Niagara. A very dangerous few moments of the opening first period. Blaise McDonald, the Niagara head coach, joins us downstairs. And how important, Blaise, were those first 3 or 4 minutes to survive?
Well, it was, it's a big step for us, number one, being in the tournament. So it was a situation where, hey, let's go out there and take what the game gives us, and also getting used to the big sheet, too. I think it was important for us to get going. But we've played a lot of good teams this year, and we're a little bit unfazed, and we weren't worried about puck possession time.
Well, Blaise, getting that first goal certainly is a big lift for your team. Getting the second goal is even a bigger lift. So there's got to be a lot of confidence here, but a little bit cautious also at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to play a good road game. We're trying to get it out, get it in deep, get it behind their net every shift. And you can see a couple times we got into some problems when we're trying to make plays both at the offensive blue line and our own blue line, and took a penalty as a result of that. But I think we'll evolve into a pretty good game here, and it's just a matter of us continuing to feel good about ourselves.
Blaise, you saw the reaction of Western New York when you made the tournament. What do you think their reaction was to that first period back home?
It was probably like watching you chunk a wedge for a birdie or something like that. It was kind of ugly but effective. So I think they're really excited for us. Let's face it. Honestly, being here playing in this game is like a Super Bowl for us. So we're kind of playing with the Trax money right now.
Great first period, Blaise, but the gloves are off now.
Okay. I like it that way.
20 minutes in the books, and so do his Niagara Purple Eagles. Kyle Martin's goal midway through the first period made it 2-0. That's where we stand after one. The Purple Eagles looking to move on. You're watching it.
Are you in the market for an SUV? We have SUVs. Jim Ball Pontiac, GMC, Buick, and Resale has over 249 SUVs available now. Yukon and Yukon XL, Safari and Safari all-wheel drive, as well as Montana vans, and this GMC Jimmy for only $259 a month. Why go anywhere else when you can see over 900 vehicles here? Hurry into Jim Ball's GM Giant in the South Towns.
I'm Jim Ball. I'm Jim Ball. You're gonna get it all.
Last year was not very good. I sent my brother a gift that I thought he'd really like.
What a great day for your birthday!
But this year I'm ordering from 1-800-Flowers.com, and I'm going to send him a cake made out of fresh cut flowers. 1-800-Flowers.com is more than just flowers. There's lots of gifts for any occasion, like anniversaries or just because. When I use this special code, I'll even get 10% off of my order.
I'm Jim McCann from 1-800-Flowers.com. Visit us online or call us at 1-800-Flowers today.
So Tony, what's on your mind?
I got this great crew working for me. They're hard workers, good earners, like Howie, Jimmy, Mike, Josh, even the belladonna Carrie.
Well, what's the problem then?
There's a person in my life who can be very critical, you know? Hard to please. I just can't get that person out of my head.
Bada bing!
Back at Mariucci Arena, New Hampshire, and Niagara, the first game of the NCAA hockey tournament. Well, throughout the weekend, we're presenting NCAA flashbacks 2 years ago. BU, New Hampshire, a classic quarterfinal into overtime.
2-on-1. Souza with Howard. Souza from Howard. Score! New Hampshire wins it in overtime, and the Wildcats are headed for Boston. Short-handed goal.
Wildcats headed to the Frozen Four, beaten by Michigan in the semifinals. Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship.
Holly Motors wants you to see their new spaces and their new faces. Holly's has expanded their new lot to offer you a larger selection of Dodge cars, trucks, and Dakotas. And at Holly Motors, they've added a few new faces to serve you better in sales and service. So stop by today and see the new spaces and faces at Holly Motors, where the owner is glad to see you. Holly Motors, Main Street, Batavia.
You got the list on you?
Yeah, I got the list right here.
We're going to Napa. It's the best place for parts.
Fine. You know what? If I ran Napa, here's what I would do. I would widen the aisles a little bit. I would put a brand new sign so it'd make things easy to find.
All right.
Okay. And I'd have a state-of-the-art computer system to be able to find those parts like that.
Okay, but you've got to admit you can't beat Napa for the knowledge. I mean, they carry more parts than anybody.
I agree.
Oh, you agree for a change?
Yes, for a change. What I'm saying is they should fix the stores up a little. Wow. Now I could live with this.
Hey, Sabres fans, here's your chance to enjoy a great night out at Garfield's Restaurant.
New Hampshire by the score of 2-0. Sean Grandi, Tom Reed back upstairs at Mariucci Arena, and clearly, you watched the first couple minutes of that first period, Tom, and Niagara back on their heels. They're feeling things out. Boy, when they got that first goal, all of a sudden it was like, hey, we can play with these guys.
Well, they certainly have proved that, Sean. There's no question they came out a little bit tentative early on here. They just weren't used to it, and I think the jitters all day long, getting to this tournament, being here all of a sudden lends itself to trying to draw back into a little bit of a shell. But once they get on track, that first goal was such a big goal for them. They just seem to come at you, and you watch when they get the puck, they get it in the fire zone, and they just go after it. They've got some speedsters on this team. They've got some guys who can put the puck in the net, and they've proven that in this first period.
This is the first time since 1993 that a team that is not from one of the Big Four conferences has gotten into the tournament. There used to be an automatic bid for an independent team in the tournament. This is the first time a team has worked their way in. And as you look at the field this year, Hockey East, obviously a dominant conference. They've got the 4 teams in, as was expected. But the more teams like Niagara that sneak in there, that means there are fewer bids for other schools. And this is why so many people in college hockey are pushing and have gotten preliminary approval for a 16-team tournament, because a lot of these teams from the big conferences don't want to be edged out by Niagara and Quinnipiac.
Well, I think it lends itself to a 16-team conference. Tournament. I think it's just going to be great for all the conferences. Everyone gets a shot at it. It opens up a few more avenues for teams to get there, and plus you can have this regional play that I think it'll attract a lot more of an audience also, and I think that's a big plus for it. They've done a tremendous job of bringing the top teams together. You prove who you are by how you play all season long. Getting to here is very difficult. It's not easy. Everything has to fall in place, and when you get teams like Niagara coming in for the first time, the unknown, as we talked about before, you're not quite sure, but I'll tell you, they have certainly proved to be a very strong contender, and you can see why some of the teams that don't get here maybe should be here as well.
Yeah, it's like anything can happen when you get here, and we have seen that over the last couple of years. As 5 of the last 8 teams that received a bye in this tournament got knocked out after getting the bye and playing in the quarterfinals. You see the teams that eventually went on to win, and a lot of these were not favored teams. Lake Superior State was a lower seed in 1994. Michigan was a lower seed in 1998. So it is a difficult road for these top seeds. New Hampshire, as an example, has had a very difficult time in this number 3 spot. Is a seed in the tournament, and they are again having trouble here today. So people, I think, sometimes confuse upsets. In the basketball tournament, there are no teams like Coppin State in the NCAA hockey tournament. If a team is in this tournament, they're a very good team, and there are no real upsets at this level.
Well, absolutely. And I know some people, as you talked about before, why does one team get in and not another team? It's based on the strength and how you play. Your schedule is one of the things, but also how you compete and who you compete against and when you win. And it goes to show you that you've got to play strong every game. From the drop of the puck in October until the very end, you've got to win those games. And if you don't, you lose 1 game, 2 games, it might be the difference between being here and watching it.
It doesn't matter how many teams there are. It's always fun to second-guess the selection committee. I mean, that's what this thing is all about. As we said, there were a lot of people questioning the selection committee when they put Niagara in, but after 20 minutes, the Purple Eagles have the lead. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. They lead the favored New Hampshire Wildcats. Last score of 2-0 after 1. Sean Grandi, Tom Reed back upstairs at Mariucci Arena. The first couple of minutes, some dangerous times for Niagara, but once they got that first goal, everything settled down.
Yeah, it really did, Sean, and that's the nice thing about a team like this. They can sit back a little bit and they can worry about what's going to happen, but once they get the first goal, then all of a sudden they just seem to go from there. And right now the Wildcats have got their workload out for them, because Niagara is one of these teams that they don't give you very much. They don't give you a lot of opportunities, and when the opportunities come, you have to make the most of them. But the problem is you got to get the puck to the net, and they've got to be good shots from close in. A lot of the shots coming from the sticks of the Wildcats are being blocked, they're being deflected, they're being pushed off the side, and so it makes it a little more difficult as this game goes on.
On a senior-laden team, it's a freshman, Randy Harris, who scores the first goal.
Well, it's an important goal, too, because it makes it work for them. You can see the tenacity coming in here. This is just a shot to the net. Nothing spectacular about this shot, but you watch right here. See the defenseman's stick just goes off a little bit at the end of Sean Austin. He tries to get a piece of it. Can't handle it. The goaltender, certainly Ty Conklin, can't handle it. And it's in the net. A big goal for them.
And the senior Kyle Martin made it 2-0.
Well, behind the back pass, all of a sudden, Martin just comes in here. He takes that perfectly. The quick turnaround, too. He did take the wide avenue. He cut in as quick as he could, and he just puts it in the top shelf.
Territorially and statistically, the first period favored New Hampshire. They outshoot Niagara 12-6. They had some quality scoring chances, but Greg Gardner, a big-time goaltender for Niagara.
Well, he's been spectacular all season long. There's no question. He'll be the guy that, if they're going to win this game, he's got to play just the same way he played in the first period.
See what adjustments the UNH Wildcats make in the locker room. They trail by 2 at the end of 1 of the opening game of the NCAA hockey tournament. We'll be back with that second period after these messages from the NCAA. Dick Umile will see his team start the second period on the power play, and as great a story, sometimes you look at another team is going to get all the attention. I mean, Niagara is a tremendous story. They are a feel-good story this college hockey season, but New Hampshire has done a tremendous job to maintain in a very difficult league. They have had a great year, and they had a very good first period. They outplayed Niagara, but they just trailed on the scoreboard.
Well, and that's the important part. That's where it's going to all count at the end of this hockey game. And right now, he has got to get his team going. 3 times he was Hockey East Coach of the Year in 91, 97, and 99. He knows what it takes to win. He's got to relay that information to the players on the ice. They also know, but they've got to be able to get the puck to the net.
Hearts heavy in New Hampshire this week is legendary longtime coach Charlie Holt. passed away last Friday night after a long bout with cancer right before New Hampshire took the ice in their semifinal Hockey's loss to Boston College. A minute to go on the UNH power play as we begin the second period. White holding, firing. Gardner makes the stop. Fat rebound, and he drops the glove on it.
Well, standing right on the doorstep, you saw Shapolsky trying to get to that puck, but once again, Gardner coming out with that left mid of his is able to secure it, holding the puck, holding his position in front of the puck to make sure if he didn't get it, that the shot would go right to him. And you watch here once again, and the Wildcats on the power play coming in. Good shot coming from the point position, and that's what you need to get. You need to get to the line there. White does that. Everyone else comes in here to make certain that they can get to it. You don't see a lot of rebounds coming from this youngster. There was one right there, but he was able to finally tap onto it.
Jim Abbott, freshman forward, as you look at Greg Gardner for Niagara, a perfect 14 of 14. MVP, inaugural MVP of College Hockey America, Greg Gardner. Jim Abbott, a freshman forward, has it played away from him by his goaltender Ty Conklin. He is the fourth forward on this New Hampshire power play, playing with the S line. Jason Shapolsky, John Sadowski, and Mike Souza. This is Shapolsky in the corner for New Hampshire, trying to avoid the turnover, having trouble with Darwin Murray. Savonin will get there and clear for Niagara. 22 seconds remain in the Wildcat power play, trailing by 2 early in the second. Souza across the line. Souza to the middle of the shot. Gardner is there.
Nice shot coming in there by Souza. Coming in, instead of going to the outside, comes back into the center ice position. We talk about the goals being scored. The majority will come from that area. But as he comes in here, he's also about another 30 to 35 feet out here. Good control of the puck. Uses the body very well to protect the puck. Comes in. The quick snapshot just outside the hash marks. But look at the distance of the goaltender. Also out at the edge of the crease, out as far as he can to cut down any shooting angle.
Mike Souza playing in his 155th game tonight. Never missed a game. 155 total is the UNH record. Tells you a lot about how far UNH has gone in the playoffs during his 4 years. Hemingway, a freshman, rolls it behind for Ryan Cordero. Cordero trying to backhand it. He had a man jumping into the play. Eric Lynn, the defenseman, couldn't find him. Niagara will clear. And New Hampshire cannot convert on their first power play. Ryan Cordero, sophomore, playing a lot in the second half of the year because of some key injuries up front for UNH. Cordero out in front. Hemingway was there, but just could not get good wood on it. Pass was a little in too close to the body. Purple Eagles dodge another bullet. DeSantis out to Kasparek. Kasparek has Martin. The trailer. It's going to come through. DeSantis kick save by Conklin. And let me tell you, gang, that was a huge one. Cordero back the other way for UNH. Gardner steers it aside. Cordero has to get off for a line change. Meanwhile, Purple Eagles will try to catch New Hampshire in said change. Savonin across the line. Savonin to the middle of the shot. It's blocked on the way. And the way Niagara plays through center ice, a lot of dread would set in on the New Hampshire side if they fell behind by 3. Walsh puts it to the middle. Savonin controls for Niagara. Heffernan with a shot. Blocked by Austin. Point blank comes Morris again. Make it Randy Harris, who had the first goal, from behind the net. Conklin wasn't expecting that. The game on the big sheet of ice is more methodical. It's a little more chess-like. And it can lull you to sleep if you're a goaltender expecting that your defensemen have things under control. There's so much open ice back there. Trulson for Austin, who will clear the zone for New Hampshire. Walsh steps across the line, waiting for help, gets it from Abbott. Back checking though by Scott McDonald. Randy Harris will get there and clear. Could be, should be, and will be icing against Niagara. 3:26 gone by in the second. The Wildcats 0 for 16 shooting the puck. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Division I Ice Hockey Championship. Right now, if you go to that website, it will read 2-0 Niagara. Off another offensive zone faceoff win for New Hampshire. A shot by Stafford was steered aside. Mark White keeps it in, floated it towards the net. Chris McKenzie got a glove on it, almost deflected it towards his own net. In the meanwhile, Lanny Gare was spilled, and New Hampshire will get another shot on the power play.
Well, they will right now, and Gare was just standing there waiting for that puck to come to him, and it may be Gardner who gets a call on that penalty. Gare was standing in front where he wants to be, looking for that puck to come to him. And as he was looking around to see what direction it was going to be shot from, all of a sudden, watch right here in the front. You can see Gardner just coming out well out of his crease to knock him down. So the goaltenders call for interference at 3:39. This will give a power play once again to the Wildcats. They were not able to capitalize on their earlier one, which was towards the latter part of the first period, first part of this second period.
I mentioned Niagara's penalty killing, 88% on the year, and hem and haw about their schedule. You just take their teams against take their games against teams from the top 4 conferences, they still kill penalties at 88%. They're facing a team that has struggled with the man advantage this year. Really remarkable that New Hampshire could win 23 games playing in Hockey East with a power play that has really been quiet this year. Sadowski in deep. Looking back towards the point. It was deflected on the way by DeSantis. White had to make a decision. Took the gamble, kept it in the zone, but Chapolsky will lose to Kyle Martin. How is the power play different, Tom, on the Olympic-size ice?
Well, it gives you a lot more ability to move the puck out here. There's no question. When you get in a smaller sheet, you've got to make quicker turns and everything else. When you get to the bigger ice areas, as you talked about before, being a little more methodical, with a little more room to move. The corners are very deep here. You can go out wide with it, and you're trying to force someone to come into your zone to see if you can draw them away and then open things up a little bit more and move the puck in. But it also is more difficult taking the shots because on the Olympic size sheet, at the blue line, it's a longer distance from the boards to that net. So the goaltender has more of a time to react to the shots, too.
Niagara changes penalty killers. UNH does not change their power play unit. Here is Sadowski from the circle. Shot through traffic. Gardner never saw it. Never got through. Chapolsky in the corner. His power play unit has been on the whole time for New Hampshire. Swing shot blocked on the way. Sadowski couldn't get to the rebound. White cannot keep it in. Savona will move it through center. Now New Hampshire has got to get a change. But they won't take it. Remember the other thing about the big ice, it's a long way to the bench.
And they're not skating very well right now either. They've slowed the pace down. You don't want to do that. When you've got the man's advantage, you need the players out there that can really speed up the game a little bit, make some things happen for them.
Hemingway, back to Sean Austin at the point. Trulson, his shot is blocked out the center. New Hampshire has to reset, and that is going to do it for their second power play.
It would be nice to know how many shots have been blocked or deflected by the Purple Eagles at this point in the game, because they seem to get every part of the body or the stick in front of those pucks coming in.
And they have already been outshot 18-8, have Blaze McDonald's Purple Eagles, and that is not counting all the shots that have been blocked on the way in.
No, but right now, the only thing that matters right now to the Wildcats is how do we get on the board? What do we have to do? We're playing against a team that gives up less than 2 goals a game. We've got to somehow get into it. And Dick Bumelli right now knows full well he's got to keep the spirit of that team as high as he possibly can.
One area of strength for New Hampshire in this game, they have been dominant on offensive zone faceoffs. That's one of the reasons they have that big shot advantage. And this one will be controlled by UNH again. Austin, though, does a great job to keep it in the zone. Cordero for Hemingway. Pruden goes to the net. Pass got deflected behind him. Austin will step up, try to keep it in the zone. Pruden try to go to his forehand. That'll get the job done. Cordero on his knees. Back to his feet. His shot is blocked. Does not get through again on Gardner. Lazoyan will roll it in deep for Niagara. 6-2, the shot advantage for New Hampshire here in the second period. Harris with a drive. Save Conklin. He had some mustard on that one.
Boy, good quick reflex also on the part of Randy Harris. Just drops the puck down with a hand and a quick release to get the shot on the target.
Well, what we have known all along is being displayed in front of our very eyes. The Purple Eagles not only belong in this tournament, they are going to be a force to reckon with. Hemingway dumps it in. New Hampshire goes on a player change. Gardner will leave it for Chris McKenzie, a veteran defenseman. Head for John Marshall, fourth line right wing. Heart and soul kind of players on this Niagara team. Well, you're not too familiar for the most part with a lot of these players since they don't play in one of the big 4 conferences, but his team has gone all over the country trying to earn themselves this opportunity, which they have done, and they are making the most of it. 7 minutes gone in the second period. Chris McKenzie and the Purple Eagles up by 2. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA. So when we suggest get your tickets early, it's a good idea to do so. Boy, Providence is going to be a mess this year. Some of these Hockey East teams make it to Rhode Island. When BU and Maine played for the national title in '95, it was as tough a ticket as you can imagine. Another icing call against Niagara. Well, speaking of the Frozen Four, don't miss your chance to order the official 2000 NCAA Frozen Four records book. Now, I admit I don't have much of a life, but I love this book because it's got all the games, all the scores, all the tournament records, all the brackets in the history of this tournament. And to order your copy of the official NCAA Frozen Four records book, call 888-388-9748. Cost is only $12 per book. And the number 888-388-9748, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. We saw some New Hampshire fans who hope that the final score in this game, when it's written in the Frozen Four record book, does not look as it does now. I suppose you can tell your team all week long that Niagara is a good hockey team, but it's easier said than actually done in practice all week.
Well, I go back to the fact that, when you've never seen the team play and you don't know much about them first year in the league, you kind of take them a little bit lightly. You can see what's happened to a lot of the teams apparently have taken them lightly, but they are a team to be reckoned with. There's no question. They've got some speed. They've got some skill here. I think more than anything else, they've got the work ethic that you need to get to this point.
That was a Blaze McDonald trademark he brought with him from Jack Parker at Boston University. Aquila takes Souza out. To the near side wall, DeSantis will chip it out to center. And icing is the call against the Wildcats for the first time tonight.
Well, that's not what they wanted right there. That was Garrett Stafford who made the pass off the boards, trying to get it off ice, but did not connect, and so that'll bring the faceoff back to their own zone. The nice thing about the faceoff here is that they have won, as you mentioned, the majority of these draws, and that will help them.
Jay Kasperick, yet another senior, West Seneca, New York, and up in that western New York area, and this game's so important for this program, the exposure. There's a lot of great hockey players in that area. We'll see some of them later tonight that play for Boston College. And this is going to be a boon recruiting-wise for Niagara. There's no question about it. Lanny Gare across the line, turned away easily as Handrahan holds his ground. Stafford is forced to dump it in, but Purple Eagles will gain possession. Handrahan circling his own net, lead too far. He's trying for Kyle Martin, didn't get him, and that will be the third icing of the second period against Niagara.
Interesting, when you talk to Blaze McDonald about his team also, the word that comes up more than anything else is the word gritty, the word competitive. He talks about those type of players and what he's looking for in a player. And you mentioned also, Sean, the fact that this will help the program tremendously. The fact that they're here will lend itself to draw some more of those elite players that he is looking for, drawing from the southern peninsula, on both on the Ontario side as well as the Niagara region, Niagara Falls, New York, and Buffalo, New York. And the insurgence of hockey there in the last few years certainly lends itself to having some of those players being more than capable of playing at this level.
Blaze McDonald and Niagara, in the 3-year history of the program previously, have never ended their season with a loss. Things stay the way they have been for the first half of this hockey game. The season's not going to end tonight. Aaron Hadar back on the ice after serving his 10-minute misconduct. Big hit by Lanny Gare on Nate Handrahan. Handrahan lost his stick. Has to go chase down a new one. So Niagara actually down a player here in the offensive zone. Colin Rose, the defenseman, racing a long way to try to keep it in. Couldn't get there in time. This is Swain for UNH. That's Swain across the line. Hadar the trailer. Swain holding. Swain coming all the way behind the net. Going to bring it back to the point. Trulson for Stafford. Got a clean look. Stafford holding. Going to bring it back to Trulson. Down low, Swain. Tough shot deflected. Lanny Gare chases it down. UNH sensing something now. Maybe a little blood in the water for the first time in this period. They got their top goal scorer, Hadar, back on the ice, and they've got a sustained attack here for the first time since losing the man advantage. Zoyan cannot clear the zone on the first try or the second. Stafford kicks it to Pruden. They keep it in the zone. Pruden sends it wide. Hadar trying to play it off the back wall. Couldn't get there. Trulson pitching in. Sharp angle shot deflected wide. Pruden bumping with Colin Rose. Lanny Gare will gobble it up. This is almost a full minute now of attack zone time for New Hampshire at even strength. Gare lost possession, comes to the middle. Scott McDonald will gladly take another icing for Niagara.
Well, no question that the Wildcats have picked up the pace here, and having Haydar back on the ice is going to help them. But they've got to get the puck once again in a position where they can get in behind the netminder, and that's been one of the faults. Everything's been on the perimeter. If you're looking for a strong defensive team, you want those players on the ice who will force things way to the outside and take away those scoring opportunities.
It would also be 3 in a row. New Hampshire in the Frozen Four in 1982. Of course, the last 2 years, semifinal loss in '98 to Michigan, championship game loss in overtime to Maine 1 year ago. They have had some difficulty, however, in these regionals when they have been a lower seed. They are 1-5 as a number 3 seed in this tournament. And if you are a number 3 seed, it means your first game you are expected to win. Chance right out in front by Richard DiCaprio, and even the fourth line creating a scoring chance for Niagara. Off the stick of DiCaprio, faceoff will come out the center.
Well, Timo Mäkelä did a nice job of bringing the puck down on the outside there, and of course when you've got your winger going right to the net, DiCaprio, as you mentioned, Sean, going there, stick down the ice, but the deflection just a little bit high over top of the glass. That'll bring the faceoff outside the New Hampshire zone.
Timo Mäkelä has that great ice vision.
And you look at once again, when you're on the outside there, you want to get the puck to the front.
Sean Austin for UNH, rolls it in deep. Local Eagles have had some success. And they have forced New Hampshire to dump it in. And they will again successfully clear the zone.
And all the Purple Eagles are doing right now is getting the puck in their own zone and just flipping it out, trying to slow things down a little bit.
No reason to change a thing until New Hampshire gets on the board. Defensive zone turnover, and Isherwood didn't miss by much. Conklin got a piece of that. Isherwood, the Niagara captain, 56 career goals. This team has been through some bizarre circumstances. Isherwood to the middle, has a trailer, Savone, and Conklin will get there and clear it. Icing is waved off. Gardner will play it. First 5 minutes of this game, it looked like the Purple Eagles were going to be lucky to get out of the first period. New Hampshire was all over them. But a deflection goal by the freshman Randy Harris midway through the first period changed the complexion. Isherwood, Savonen scores! Mikko Savonen! It is 3-0 Niagara.
Oh, what a play by Mike Isherwood also. He came down, everyone was drawn towards him. He made the pass out perfectly. And when you make the pass, you want it nice and flat, nice and low. And Savonen just comes down, the senior forward out of Finland, just comes in and he just levels this one. He got everything into that shot. There it is, nice and low. And look at his position, just leaning into it. You can see the balance there. And all of a sudden, Ty Conklin could not handle that. That goal coming at 11-19, 3-0 in favor of the Purple Eagles.
Savonen and DeSantis, the two right wings, are sniper-type players. It is a formula that has worked for Blaise McDonald. He loves those two players on the wing. Isherwood, the great playmaker, with his 89th career assist. Those two have played together. One other factor that you don't get these days in college hockey is with the top teams, Tom. With seniors here on this program, they have played together. We'll talk about it more when we return. We are late in the second period. Dick Umili's club is in some trouble. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. But among his advantages, his players now, who are not only so many seniors on this team, but Tom, they have played together for 4 years, and in this day and age in college hockey, with so many players leaving early, when does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely, you're absolutely right. You get to know the players, you play with them long enough, and things just start to gel. And sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years. And when you've got 13 seniors who've been able to be there to be a part of that, that speaks highly of this club.
9 of the 12 forwards in this Niagara team are seniors. 3-on-2. Here's one of the seniors, Martin, turned away at the line, and that's a big defensive play by Garrett Stafford. Niagara had numbers. Instead, Chapolsky comes across the line. Chapolsky with Sadowski in the middle.
What a play by Kasper coming back there to just play the defensive role in there to pick up the stick.
Well, the Wildcats clearly are going to have to turn it on right now. They average 3.3 goals per game. Haydar, long drive. Gardner is there, and shots like that are not going to beat Greg Gardner. New Hampshire has had a lot of shots on goal. That was number 19 through the first 32 minutes of this game, but they're not getting rebounds.
And the key there was the long shot, as you talked about, way from outside along the boards. Watch a defensive play right here. You think you've got one lined up. All of a sudden, Jake Asperis does a nice job coming back here, just lifting up that stick at the last moment, taking the shot away.
12 shutouts already this year for Greg Gardner, a new NCAA record. Another offensive zone face-off win. By New Hampshire. It is a staggering percentage. Austin could not keep it in. New Hampshire will have to retreat. Waiting back deep was McKenzie to move it out the center. McDonald deflects it across to the left side. And a hand pass will be whistled against Niagara, face off in the neutral zone.
Well, you talked to Blaise McDonald about his team, and what kind of a team is he? We're very well balanced. We got the guys up front that can do the work for us, but we also have a very strong, balanced team, and we use our lines, all of our lines. Right now, each one of those lines has figured in a goal. The top 3 lines have scored goals, getting some help defensively coming back in there into the zone, but also defense doing a nice job in front of their netminder, Greg Gardner out of Mississauga, who has come up with all of those saves you mentioned, and he's very tough to get anything past.
Folks, Niagara has 11 scholarships. 11. They are halfway towards the NCAA quarterfinals. McKenzie turns it over outside his own line. Hadar had no entry into the zone because Makela neutralized him, and he's forced to dump it in. McDonald turns it over. Rare defensive zone turnover. Austin holding. Austin trying to get himself a better look. Austin to the middle. Austin backhand deflected down low. Second chance. Gare stopped by Gardner, but a penalty's coming up on Niagara.
Nice play by Austin, picking the puck up at the point. Able to take a look to read the play, what was happening here. As he gets the puck, all of a sudden, he starts to move in, little fake of a shot, then he comes to the outside again. Right here, as he goes to the outside, then he's got the good sense to come right back to the middle again. Instead of going way on the outside, there's the backhand shot, and you can see Gardner having some difficulty there. Swain is right to the side there, but watch in front. Look at the action. This is how I talk about the defensive help that he's getting back right there. And as a result of that, there will be a penalty that will be called against Makela. He is going to be called for holding one of those forwards coming back in deep to help out. That penalty coming at 13:07.
Blaise McDonald's penalty killing unit 2 for 2 in this first round tournament game. 88% on the year, 3rd in the nation. They control the draw this time because Andrahan simply pounced on it and cleared the zone. Ty Conklin puts it to White. Jim Abbott is the 4th forward again on this New Hampshire power play. A freshman. Turnover in the middle by Souza. Colin Rose decides not to jump up into the play. White goes to the near side. A lot of open ice, and that will result in an offside against UNH.
Now Souza was skating to the puck. He would have gotten to it first, but the offside call will bring it back near the center red line. Niagara has taken the last 3 penalties of this game, and Vic Umili has got to get his players going in his 10th year. The winner of the National Coach of the Year award last year, the Spencer T. Penrose Award in '99.
And boy, did he ever deserve that award, New Hampshire, with their best regular season and in a lot of ways their best postseason. In school history, they won the regular season title in Hockey East last year, and of course lost in overtime in both the league championship game to Boston College and the national championship game to Maine. Souza across the line. Big drive deflected in. Rebound knocked away. Hadar had a shot at it, and that was a good chance because Souza's shot was deflected. Another opportunity. Abbott's is deflected wide. Now New Hampshire has the power play cooking. You see the time remaining on it. Sadowski with room to work. Aaron Hadar missed most of the first period with a misconduct. Hadar. Great stop, Gardner. Boy, he is quick to move from side to side. Hadar puts it to the middle. Drop back to White. White through traffic. It won't get through. Kyle Martin blocks it on the way. Sadowski again. Well, this power play unit has spent a lot of power play time on the ice. Deep into the 2nd minute of the power play now. Sadowski for White. Back to Sadowski at the circle. His shot is blocked again. UNH has 23 shots and probably another 15 that have been blocked in this game.
I think you're absolutely right.
Handrahan will clear the zone. DeSantis had a man breaking. It was Isherwood. Didn't really see it. Abbott will clear to White. Maybe time for one last rush here for New Hampshire on the power play. Souza waits for help. The lead too far for Shapolsky. Savonin turns it out of the zone. White has to wait for Shapolsky to clear. almost turned it over. So the final seconds ticking off New Hampshire's power play. They are 0 for 3 now with the man advantage and trail by 3 moving into the late stages of period number 2. Cordero bumped off by Isherwood. Eric Lind came off the bench, couldn't get to it. He's going to be beaten there by Makela. Makela taken down by Lind. Good clean takedown by Eric Lind. Second chance. Isherwood stopped by Conklin. Savonin looking for a rebound, and Conklin is able to gobble it up. The Niagara is on a roll. They lead by 3. They have killed off another New Hampshire power play. Late in the second period. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA.
Eagles just 11, but 3 of those have gone in. The only goal scored of this game. The Wildcats still trying to get on the board. 23 shots they have propelled towards the opposite end against goaltender Greg Gardner, but they cannot get it behind them.
New Hampshire, as we mentioned, their history in this tournament, their recent history, has been better when they have been the underdog. Not the favorite, as they are against Greg Gardner and Niagara tonight. Well, tonight's telecast is an exclusive presentation of NCAA Productions. Any commercial use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NCAA or Tom Reed is expressly completely prohibited.
That's right.
He wields a lot of power.
Absolutely.
Dickie Milley, who said it, has seen this before. A loss to Wisconsin in 1992. A loss to Colorado College as a favorite in the tournament. Disappointing loss a few years ago, and now as a 3 seed. New Hampshire trailing by 3 late in the second period, but still plenty of time and dangerous offensive weapons wearing white. Hemingway, the freshman, turned away at the line. Randy Harris moves it out to center. Harris had the first Niagara goal in this game. Randy Harris, Kyle Martin, and Mikko Savonin have the Niagara goal.
Another hand pass. Yeah. Frustration perhaps. Trying to control your own destiny here by the physical play, but I'll tell you, the one thing that the Purple Eagles have not done is back down from anything here, and they have got some speedsters out here. They continually have those legs in motion all the time.
Blaze McDonald has taken his team through a bizarre schedule, a ton of road games, and they are certainly battle-tested.
They certainly are, and I'll tell you, this team is very solid physically. They're in great shape, and Blaze McDonald, one of those individuals who loves to run. He's been in 5 Boston marathons, his best, 3 hours and 8 minutes.
Well, this season has been a marathon for Niagara, and look at the teams they have beat. BU, of course, the number 3 seed in this tournament, the regular season champion in Hockey East. Colorado College, RPI. Some great wins, and some other tournament teams they have played very tough, like St. Lawrence, a bye team in the East region, and they had a couple of good games with Niagara. And people point to the fact that Niagara, well, they'll say they got up for all those games. Those were like their Super Bowl. They were all pumped up to play those games. Well, if you look at it the other way, Niagara had to win those games. They had to win some of those games, and oftentimes they didn't get 3 or 4 chances to play a BU. Some teams in Hockey East would. Haydog to the middle, run off the play. They only had 1 shot, and they got it done. Gare to the middle, great play by Swain, but he couldn't get the shot off. It's another Niagara shot block. McKenzie gives up possession to retreat to his spot on the blue line, and he is there as the puck comes his way. Now Trulson for New Hampshire. Bumped to the wall easily by Marshall. 4th line on now for Niagara. They have all played evenly. DiCaprio sends it in deep. Niagara has only had 1 power play in this game. They have been badly outshot, but they are in control. Souza cannot receive the pass as Murray stands him over the line. Second try. DiCaprio will clear to center. Sean Austin for New Hampshire. The Wildcats becoming increasingly frustrated. Shots on goal are up to 24, but Tom, they are not getting the kind of quality shots that are going to give them a chance to get back in this game.
No, and that's what I talked about, the fact that they need to get the shots in. They have not done that. Now they're starting to flip the puck a little bit also. They're kind of holding back where they should really be putting the guns out right now. They got to get the Jets working.
Coming up in our second intermission here at Mariucci Arena. Another one of those great NCAA flashbacks. And, well, we could do 3 hours of those NCAA flashbacks. There have been so many great moments in this tournament over the last just few years alone. The head coach of the Michigan State Spartans, the man, the myth, the legend, Ron Mason, will be up here to join us. So we'll have highlights and stats. Only a Greg Gardner saves and a Niagara goal, no doubt, coming in our second intermission. This is the opening game of the 2000 NCAA Tournament. And quite a story is developing here in Minneapolis. Sadowski chases for New Hampshire, but Kyle Martin, who has the second Niagara goal, is able to clear ahead to DeSantis, and he will move it slowly out to center. The unknown Niagara, the national power New Hampshire, the Olympic-size ice in which the Wildcats play their home games on, that Niagara rarely sees. Right, you see the story on the top left of your screen. Kyle Martin. Casper, he will send it in deep. Niagara will just go on another player change. They're rolling now.
Niagara does not make too many mistakes behind their own blue line. They're very adept at getting the puck and just getting out of the zone, making certain that they're not going to give it away and have opportunities come back against them.
Ryan Cordero in this game. David Bush, Corey Joe Feisick, Dick Umili injured late in the year, and that can do some things too when you get your lineup all organized for the playoff run and then you lose two key forwards at the end of the regular season.
Well, you're absolutely right. And when I talked to Dick before the game, I said, what's your weaknesses? We have two weaknesses. Our power play, proven to be true at this point in the game. 3 opportunities, you can't make it, and lack of scoring. There's the other one. Well, when you put those two together and you get in quality games like this, championship games, you need to have something change in those areas. And if they don't, you're going to be gone very quickly.
We will talk to Dick Umili at the end of period number 2. Should be an interesting conversation. Enders, they move it out to center for UNH. Well, the Wildcats, if they could just get one in the final minute of the second period, that might change everything. Lynn plays it off the wall to avoid the icing. Cruden couldn't get there. Hand for hand, staying at home on his own blue line, knocks it away. Randy Harris, the freshman, he has been a standout in this hockey game. Chris Sebastian rolls it in deep. And we've got a penalty coming up behind the play, and this is going to be on UNH.
Well, it is going to go against them, and it was a little confrontation with Sebastian right in front of the net. Or excuse me, right in front of the boards and the players' bench for the Wildcats. Watch right here. Watch where the sticks come. There's a little push in the face, I believe, is what is going to be called there. But that will result in the penalty going against the Wildcats. It'll be a roughing call, I think, and that's what it will be against Dan Enders.
So now the tension builds for Dick Umili and New Hampshire. 43 seconds, as you see, remaining in the period. Niagara 0 for 1 on the power play, but they led the nation this year, albeit against the easier schedule, with 28% with the man advantage. Wildcats control. Austin will clear. Timo Makela. Chris McKenzie will be the power play quarterbacks for Niagara, particularly Makela. Puts it on the stick of John Heffernan. Heffernan rolls it in deep. Savonin couldn't get there. McKenzie is going to be able to control it at the point. Savonin, who has the third Niagara goal, sends it wide. Heffernan, they're trying to get one more shot away before the period ends. McKenzie has Savonin. One-timer sailed wide, and that huge sigh of relief you just heard came from Durham, New Hampshire, as the Wildcats survived this late power play attempt by the Niagara Purple Eagles. But Greg Gardner is 24 of 24 in the Niagara nets, and Ty Conklin will need some help in period number 3 if the Wildcats are to advance.
Well, they certainly do, Sean. They need some help in the goal-scoring area. No question. They've got 20 minutes to do something here. And you can see that Ty Conklin not very happy right now as he skates off the ice.
Dick Umili joins us downstairs. And, Coach, I imagine for a lot of people watching this game in the country, Niagara is a very surprising team, but this can't be surprising to you.
Well, no, it's not surprising, but we're not making the most of our opportunities. We've got to generate some more scoring opportunities.
You talked, Dick, before to me about the fact that the one thing your team has lacked is productivity on the power play and scoring goals, and that proves to be true in this contest as well.
Well, right now, after 2 periods it is, and hopefully we can get a quick one in the third period here and see if we can get back into this game.
What do you say to the players? How do they get back into it?
Well, you're gonna if you don't get scoring opportunities, you can't get back into the game, so you got to stay with it. It's a 60-minute hockey game, and come out here, get one quick one, and put the pressure on them.
Coach, good luck in the third.
Thank you.
That is Dick Umili, the head coach of the New Hampshire Wildcats. Many people will call this an upset, but right now Niagara looks like a better hockey team. 20 minutes to go in the first game of the tournament. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA. Hampshire and Niagara in the NCAA Hockey Tournament opener. Time now for another NCAA flashback. We head to Cincinnati. The year was 1996. Overtime in the semifinals between Colorado College and Vermont.
Jay McNeil, he and Remickle 2-on-2. McNeil to Remickle, back to McNeil. He's got room to shoot. Oh, it's a goal! Rebound! Is it in? It's in! It is! College is won!
Turnabout in the title game, though, as the Tigers were beaten by Michigan. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey program at Niagara University. 40 minutes ago, they had never played an NCAA tournament game. Now the Purple Eagles are 20 minutes away from the quarterfinals. They lead UNH 3-0. Sean Grande back upstairs at Mariucci Arena, joined by one of the most recognizable faces in all of college hockey, the venerable head coach of Michigan State, Ron Mason. First of all, Coach, your reaction to what I'm sure many people think is a big surprise, but maybe if you've seen Niagara at all this year, it's not that big a surprise.
No, it's not, because they play very well defensively, and they're an older team. They're using their one-on-one strength around loose pucks, and they're just getting the puck out of their zone, and when they've had a chance tonight, they've been able to score, and it's probably the worst nightmare in the world for New Hampshire. It's very difficult to play in a game like this, especially when you're behind.
Last weekend, you win the CCHA title for the 9th time. You get the 5th seed in the West. A lot of talk this year about the league, and the CCHA obviously didn't get much respect in all those mathematical formulas that none of us are smart enough to figure out. Does the CCHA not gotten the respect they deserve this year?
Well, I think when you get 2 number 5 seeds, you wonder about it, but there's also criteria out there, and I think someday it's going to have to be looked at, maybe with especially the new conferences that are around, and I imagine we'll discuss that at our league meetings this year, but there's a lot of good hockey teams. I mean, I've always said over the years that the good teams are good teams, and when they meet, anybody can beat anybody, and we're finding that out here tonight.
Offensively, your team maybe doesn't have some of the marquee players that it has in years past in this tournament, but tell people a little bit about this team that won the CCHA title last weekend.
Well, Sean Horkoff's having a great year. He's got 61 points right now, and he deserves every one of them. He plays well at both ends of the rink. Last year, he was overshadowed by Mike York tremendously. Mike got his 25th last night with the Rangers, so that's saying a lot too. But Mike Weaver, our senior defenseman, is very good defensively. He's very good killing penalties. I'm not so sure the big rink's going to help him that much, but he's very good. And our young freshman goalie, Ryan Miller, he's got 8 shutouts. He's a big surprise for me this year, but he's been playing very well down the stretch here too.
Jerry York, your opposing head coach tonight, referred to BC Michigan State as kind of like an original 6 matchup in the NHL. 2 of the marquee programs. Obviously, Boston College is a team that has a tremendous amount of talent, 1 through 20.
Well, on paper, there's no question. They're probably the most talented team in college hockey, and if you look at it, maybe the most experienced as well. That could present a real nightmare for us. We've got to control that talent. We have to play our game. How this big ice is going to affect either team, I really don't know. But I know we're going to have to get good goaltending tonight to win, because they are going to get chances to score. I think we'll surprise them a little bit with our depth. We got a little more depth than a lot of people think, but I think as well we have to make sure the game's close in the third period to give ourselves a chance.
Who's your goaltender tonight?
Well, it'll be Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller, indeed. We'll get the start. You didn't think you were going to fool anybody this week with that, did you?
Well, you never know. Like I got to go on record as saying Joe Blackburn, when he's hot, is unbelievable. You can't score on him even in practice, and he's done a lot to help Ryan Miller be as good as he is, but Ryan right now is on a roll, and we're going to go with him.
Ryan Miller will go for his 3rd straight shutout tonight in the first round game, the marquee matchup of this first round of the NCAA tournament between Boston College and Michigan State. That's our 2nd game here from Minneapolis tonight. But the story right now is in our first game. The Purple Eagles of Niagara are 20 minutes away from the NCAA quarterfinals. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. Niagara has been an extraordinary story in college hockey this year, and they apparently are interested in writing another chapter. They lead New Hampshire at the end of 2 periods in this first round NCAA tournament game by a score of 3-0. Sean Grande, Tom Reed back upstairs, and boy, Niagara, we knew on paper they were the kind of team once they get a lead, they were going to hang on to it with a death grip, and that was certainly what we saw in the second period.
Sean, you're right. I mean, I'd be afraid to play this team. Looking at them, what I see right now, whoever has to play them, if they advance, is going to have a very tough time. This is a team that can skate. They dump it out, they dump it in. They dump it out, they dump it in. They go in, they take the opportunities when they come, they make the most of them.
2-0 lead after one for Niagara. New Hampshire was pressing for that third goal, and you knew if Niagara was to get one, they would get it on a counterattack, and that's what happened.
Well, you watch right here because UNH actually had good possession of the puck right here, but Eric Lynn couldn't do anything with it. All of a sudden, it's picked back up. Ishwood does a great job here. He comes in, draws everyone towards him, just passes off, and Mikko Simonen scores his 23rd goal of the season. He just lays in that. You watch his balance here, as he just rifles that one, and Ty Cochran cannot handle it. It's in the net, and that's where we are right now, 3-0.
Shots on goal, 24-11 in favor of New Hampshire. They had the advantage territorially, but I would say Niagara actually played a better second period than they did the first period in terms of territorially and being in control of the game.
Yes, they certainly did. And the one thing is they do not give up a lot of opportunities. And you watch them in this third period. They're going to play very, very strong. The problem the Wildcats are going to have is getting the puck into the zone and doing anything with it. I was looking at the shot charts after the first two periods. They're not getting any penetration in that center ice area. And that's where they have to get to. They've got to get, Dick Miller has got to talk to his players about getting in that middle area and taking those shots. And they've got to be able to pump them in.
Can UNH tie this game?
I think it's going to be very tough for them to do it, just based on what I've seen in the first two periods.
With Niagara playing as well as they have through center ice. It is a remarkable story, and we are watching yet another one unfold here tonight in Minneapolis. The Niagara Purple Eagles are 20 minutes away from the quarterfinals. We're back with the third period after this word from the NCAA. IncredibleStory.com. Greg Gardner, working on his 13th shutout of the year, has already shattered the NCAA record, and now in what is far and away the biggest game in Niagara University hockey history, the Purple Eagles are 20 minutes away from shutting out one of the top teams in the country, the UNH Wildcats, who spent most of this year ranked in the top 5. They were number 1 for quite some time earlier in the year for the first time in UNH history, but Niagara looking at a possible date with the Fighting Sioux tomorrow night.
Well, in this game, you still have to score goals to win hockey games. Sometimes you only need one, but right now, the Wildcats from New Hampshire need 4 goals to win this contest without giving up anything else. That's a very tough task for them to do, considering the likes of Greg Gardner and how he's played in these first 2 periods.
It is one and done, single game elimination in the NCAA Tournament. New Hampshire season is now on the line as we begin period number 3. Chris McKenzie for Niagara. Cross ice to his defense partner, Timo Makala. Makala, the Finn, rolls it deep in the New Hampshire zone. Niagara has played conservative since they got the lead in this hockey game, and there's no reason for them to stop now. Makala could not control it. Sadowski comes out and doesn't have a lot of help with him as New Hampshire want to go on a player change. Icing his way off as Makala is back to play.
Well, you saw Makala have a problem with it, but all of a sudden, as he goes back in position, he had John Heffernan and was right back there to give him some help. So defensively, this team is very sound.
Martin across the line. Kasperick to the middle. Conklin makes the save as they shoot up high on Ty Conklin. Conklin has made some big saves in the second and third period, but the story tonight, 24 for 24 is Greg Gardner.
Well, you watch some of the saves he makes also. He is just so focused on where he has to be.
Josh Pruden, the freshman. As we begin the second period. Holding with more quality chances. Stop. That rebound.
He's been just a tremendous asset to this hockey club. And you talk about having your seniors reach a certain peak. He's one of those guys who has really stepped up his game. He'll get a lot of attention from the professional ranks.
Talked to Ron Mason before our on-camera interview. Of course, knows Greg Gardner well. His father played at Michigan State. And he's very impressed with the performance, and how can you not be? Nate Handrahan for the Purple Eagles into the New Hampshire zone. That's about as far in, I think, as we've seen a Niagara defenseman wander in this game. Final seconds of this Niagara power play. Souza coming out 2-on-1 with Hadar. Souza holding. Souza! Niagara positionally has not been out of place once tonight.
No, that was probably the best scoring chance I think that the Wildcats have had in this contest. 2-on-1 situation coming down the ice, and Niagara trying to get back in position. You'll watch once again. You just got to play through those checks once in a while. Souza does that. Comes down, just wards it off. The puck comes right to the far side. You can see it's just kind of squirts by the outstretched stick of Hadar, who had a chance to get to it, could not do so. Once again, who's there to keep the puck from going in? Gardner right in the position.
It is all bouncing right in a season in which all the loose ends have been tied up by the Purple Eagles of Niagara. You could not have written a better script for this program in a new conference in the first year. All kinds of travel. They played in Alaska this year. They played in Minnesota this year. They played down in Nebraska this year. They played everywhere just to give themselves an opportunity to make this tournament and showcase their program. And now it appears the way things are going, they're going to have at least one more night to do it. Trulson off another offensive zone faceoff win. Landing gear puts it out in front, and Haydar scores. Darren Haydar finally gets New Hampshire on the board, and it's a brand new hockey game at 3-1.
Well, it is. That is a very big goal for them, because not only is their first goal of this game, but also it's early in this third period, and that'll give them some new life. Darren Haydar, the recipient of the Most Exciting Player Award, watch him position himself in front of that. The shot comes to look like bumper pool here for a second, but the stick is down the ice, and very quickly as that puck comes out to him, he's able to put it away. Landy Garrett getting that that puck back out in front to him as he's able to put it into the net. One other assist also will go to Kevin Trulson. This goal coming at 1:29. This makes a different complexion to this game.
Darren Haydar's 22nd of the year, first of the postseason. And now let's watch and see how the Purple Eagles react with New Hampshire on the board. Gardner's shutout bid is spoiled early in the third. New Hampshire takes an icing. And the most important shifts in hockey games are the ones that come right after goals.
Well, you've got to be prepared. If you've given up a goal, you've got to make certain you've got the guys on the ice that can keep the opponents from scoring once again. But also the other part of that, when you score a goal, you've got to make sure you have the momentum to keep on going, that you don't just relax a little bit thinking, now here we go. You've got to be prepared, because also Niagara is one of those teams that can come right back and have an explosion around you.
To read the lips of Blaze McDonald, let's get it right back. DiCaprio on the face-off win. Marshall didn't get much of a shot away. White will move it out to center. Watch the body language now the next couple of minutes on both sides. Might tell a very important story over the final few minutes of this game. White's lead, tapped by Cordero, ends up on the stick of White. He will carry into the Niagara zone, play it in deep. Off the wall, Pruden will play it. Cordero goes to the net. Cordero puts it out to the middle. White through traffic. Going to be deflected wide. Makela chases down on his offside. Ends up putting it in the crowd.
Biggest thing, Sean, is this team has got to continue to skate very hard. They've gotten their first goal. Now they've got to keep on moving. And it's going to be up to guys like Makela and so on playing back in that point position to make certain they are able to contain the Wildcats in that defensive zone.
Niagara 23-1-1 this year when leading after two periods. At 3-0, Darren Haydar's goal has just made it 3-1. You mentioned some frustrating moments the last few years in this tournament for UNH as a favorite. But they have done a lot of their damage as an underdog in 1998, beating Wisconsin and Boston University to advance to the Frozen Four. Last year was the #1 seed in the East, coming inches away from their first national championship. Sadowski with a pass, icing if it goes, and it does. Icing against UNH. What is Dean Blaze and the Fighting Sioux of North Dakota, what are they thinking right now?
Oh, I'm telling you, they're watching this team, and the read was that they're not a real good, skilled team. None of these players have been drafted by the NHL, but I'll tell you, this is a team that plays so well together. Dean Blaze said this is a team that Blaze McDonald, that we've put together that has really been unselfish during the year. And right now, the Fighting Sioux, I think, watching a contest like this, have got to realize that they can't just put on those uniforms. They're a very strong, good offensive club, but this team here can surprise you.
First goal, so important. Battle for the faceoff. Savona chasing it down. Souza takes a bump from Isherwood. Lind will carry it out. The first goal is going to be extremely important in our second first-round game tonight, too, between two teams that don't give up very many, Boston College and Michigan State. Hope you'll stick around for that one on most of these same stations. Clearly, the marquee matchup in this tournament's first round, BC and Michigan State. That game is coming up after Niagara and New Hampshire have completed their first-round match. Schipulski has some time. Gardner has had a clean look at a lot of those first opportunities all night. He has made it look easy. Heffernan across the line for Niagara. He is held up. Textbook by Dan Enders. Truelson gobbles up the puck. Truelson to center. Sadowski has a chance for a 3-on-2. Put it behind Shapolsky. New Hampshire is about to go on a line change anyway. Aaron Hadar has the Wildcats on the board. Here in the third period. Turnover by Austin, but he's able to recover. Abbott will flip it through center. Truelson will not chase. Wildcats will retreat and try it again. Lead too far for Abbott. Foley gained the red line, no icing. Gardner comes out of his net. Nathan Murray. It does clear the zone. Kasparek indirects it off the wall. He was looking for Kyle Martin. Truelson breaks it up, plays it in deep. New Hampshire has neutralized Niagara very well through center ice, but they need 2 to tie. Kasparek across the line. Counts one towards the net. Trouble with a bouncing puck. White couldn't handle it. Walsh does. Cannot clear the zone. Great job by Makela. Quick hand to keep it in the zone. Niagara will not gamble, and as a result, Stafford will clear the zone. Andy Harris, the lead for Makela, the defenseman. Going deep and chase. Bumps White. Foley cannot control it. Chris McKenzie, Niagara defenseman, will. Harris gloves it down for himself. Makela at center ice. This is a slow, methodical game, and the Purple Eagles of Niagara are loving every minute of it. Blaze McDonald and company, 15 minutes away, but Darren Hadar has UNH on the board. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA.
Purple Eagles, they're playing, as you mentioned, very selectively in what they do with that puck. All they're doing is just getting it out. Nothing fancy. They don't need any more goals here. They realize that. They don't have to do anything fancy. They want to continue their quest to the Frozen Four, and with that in mind, they're just going to keep playing very, very sound defensive hockey, and when they get the chances, they'll try and move the puck up ice, but they won't do anything fancy with it.
If you're wondering about that ring that Blaze McDonald wears, as White salesman wide, Blaze McDonald National Championship as an assistant coach at BU in 1995. Also won a championship at the Division III level, playing for RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. He was a great defenseman back in the early 80s. Matt Swain rolls it in deep. Here is Hadar. UNH looking for another one. Heffernan will clear to center. Great move through center ice. It is Isherwood. Puts it to the middle. Save made by Conklin. Save of the game that keeps the Wildcats alive. Here comes Stafford the other way. Has Hadar on the wing. Hadar fires shot, is blocked on a sprawling play by Heffernan. Sadowski tries to keep the pressure on. Heffernan breaks that up as well. Hadar puts it all the way through. Lynn fanned on the shot. He took his eye off it. Great chances on both ends. And I could say a ridiculous sportscasting comment along the lines of the next goal is really important, but I think you've probably figured that out for yourselves. Lynn to the middle. Murray is there. There's always someone there. Just don't make mistakes. Face-off will come back in the New Hampshire zone.
Yeah, they don't, and you're absolutely right. The one thing is that this is such an older team when you look at them. Watch this move right here. You take the puck, you come in the far side, and all of a sudden you got your wingers breaking, and that's what you want to have happen. You can see Isher with the puck there just passing right across, Heffernan coming in the far side, but he cannot make the connection here. They just keep going to the net, and that's all they're doing right now. Great move on the part of Isherwood also to get around the defender, coming in there, maintaining balance and control of that puck.
Cordero tried to make the move on McKenzie, and McKenzie wasn't buying. Here comes DeSantis across the line. DeSantis, one of the first recruits 4 years ago on this Niagara team for Kyle Martin. Martin has what stands to be the game winner right now. Net comes off. 13 minutes and 18 seconds separating the Purple Eagles from history. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. A rare face-off in the New Hampshire zone in this game tonight. New Hampshire has had the better of the play territorially. They have won a ton of face-offs. Who knows what the score would be if not for all those face-off wins. Kasparek trying to put it out in front. Second chance comes all the way through. McKenzie, the defenseman, was on the wrong side to field that pass. Kyle Martin taps it ahead. Kasparek has help. Puts it to the middle. DeSantis. Enders got there, and Conklin got a piece. Hemingway. For Lind across the line. Now Pruden. Pruden neutralized by Makela. Scramble for the puck. Here's where you think New Hampshire might have their best chances out of a scramble to get Niagara out of position. Kasparek across the line, but ahead of the play on left wing and offside is the freshman Randy Harris. Well, for college hockey fans in and around the upstate New York area, as much fun as we're having in the West Regional right now, the East Regional will begin tomorrow, and some of the marquee programs in the country like Boston University and Michigan will be in action tomorrow at Pepsi Arena. $18 you can get into the building for a doubleheader. Make plans, drive to Pepsi Arena, and watch the best teams in college hockey. For tickets, call 518-487-2000. There are quite a few people gathered now in Albany watching us now. Maybe some just got there and have flipped on the game and cannot believe the score they see, but that is no misprint. Niagara scored the first 3 goals of this game, and it wasn't until that man, Darren Hadar, scored for Dick Umili a minute 24 into the third that New Hampshire got on the board. And when we are all done with this game, as we said, the main event, the marquee matchup of the first round, will be the regular Eagles, not the Purple Eagles, but the just plain old Eagles from Boston College against the Spartans of Michigan State, 2 teams that were in the Frozen Four a year ago.
And 2 teams that know each other pretty well, too. They played a number of times over the years.
Hadar through for Austin. Shot is blocked again. A sprawling block by Randy Harris. Now across the line comes Sebastian. The speedy Sebastian rolls it through, but it ends up on the stick of Hadar. Now UNH, this is the way they want to play. Gare across the line. Hadar goes to the net. Gare waits for help, gets it from Trulson. Trulson lost it on a sprawling play coming off the bench by Richard DiCaprio. Big play after big play defensively has been made by Niagara in this game. Hadar again, or try to roll it through. Sadowski on the wall. For White, his shot is blocked. Dick Umili has changed the lines back to the way he had them last weekend in Boston. Sadowski playing with Gare and Hadar. White from the middle. Gardner gave him a fat rebound, but it is cleared away by Handrahan. Now Handrahan rolls over John Sadowski, and the puck is outside the zone again.
Well, this is probably the best pressure that the Wildcats have been able to put on here.
They have only 3 shots in this third period. This is the closest period in terms of shots on goal. 3-2 New Hampshire, 9 minutes in. Shapolsky got a piece of the stick of Sadowski, but not enough, and Bozoyan will move it out to center. Mark White for New Hampshire. Sadowski tried to send Shapolsky in the zone, but boy, as Niagara clogged up the middle. Time continues to run off that clock. Mike Souza, the veteran captain of the New Hampshire Wildcats, the Iron Man. Chases the puck, but Savona will get there first, and that should be icing, and it will be icing against Niagara.
Well, they're not looking to get that puck down their own zone right now because of the fact they're in the defensive zone, but you watch about defensive help. Watch this nice little check right here. Just separated, nice hip check coming in the part of the Purple Eagles. Senior defenseman Nate Handrahan, who does a nice job of just stepping right into Garrett Stafford, who goes down without drawing any penalties. Penalties could be a critical situation right now for either team right in this contest.
When Blaze McDonald was at Boston University, they had a strength and conditioning coach there by the name of Mike Boyle, who in a lot of ways set the industry standard for BU, and Blaze McDonald has taken that program, brought it to Niagara, and as a result, the Purple Eagles have been one of the best third period teams in the entire country. They have shown here getting stronger, allowing only 3 shots in the first 10 minutes of period 3. There's one of them off the stick of Darren Hadar went in. Conklin almost caught indecisive. Abbott was behind the defense, but a great poke check by Timo Makela sent the Wildcats offside.
Makela is one of those defensemen, 5'11", 180 pounds. He is a team player. He plays so consistently and so conservatively back there, but he'll move up in the play as well. But right in that last play, you saw as he had the stick pulled in, and when the pass came through, he just extended that arm, able to get to that puck and keep it from going in the zone, creating what would have been an offside call had it continued.
Try to envision the recruiting pitch that was made to these seniors 4 years ago. well, why don't you come and play hockey at Niagara?
We don't have a rink yet. But
we don't have a rink, and we don't have a program, but we'd love for you to come and play.
And in 4 years, we'll put you,
in 4 years, you'll be in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Sure you will. For a lot of these players, there were no other options. Unrecruited players, and here they are, 9:40 away from a shot at the Frozen Four. Kyle Martin works it back to the point. McKenzie. Martin goes to the middle. Pass was behind him. Kyle Martin, another one of these seniors, as Hadar trying to put it to the middle. Second chance. Swain sprawls in. Gardner knocked it away from him. Rose, a long drive in, deflected wide. Gardner has played with so much poise. He has not given New Hampshire an opportunity. He has been very focused. It'll have to be now. Hemingway looking for Gare. Another block pass, block shot. This one by Handrahan.
Well, that's been one of the successes of this team. They play so well defensively.
Nate Handrahan, the senior, and the Purple Eagles are 9 minutes away. We'll be back after these messages from the NCAA.
Warrior type of a player, Nate Handrahan, does a nice job of making a good, solid defensive play. But watch also, you saw the goaltender there knock this out. But here's Handrahan as he comes across, just lays down flat perfectly on the ice to take that puck away from the good scoring area, which is in front of that net.
There will be no shortage of heroes for Niagara if this score holds. 9 shot blocks, a bunch of passes blocked. Pruden rolls it in deep. Look at the stick work down deep by Handrahan to keep that out of danger. Niagara will gladly take another icing. They will take icings all night long if they can take some time off that clock.
Well, what they want to do is slow the pace down as much as they possibly can. The one thing about the Wildcats, when they get going, they like to be in that skating mode and moving that puck. But all of a sudden, when you've got a number of whistles, the momentum is taken away. And you saw how quickly, too, the defensive play by Handrahan in his own zone to get the puck into the corner. When that puck is right in front of the net, boy, they waste no time of making sure they get it out of that dangerous or that slot area.
There's Nate Handrahan, one of the alternate captains. Kyle Martin, another one of the seniors, told us yesterday if you had told him 4 years ago this team would be in the NCAA tournament his senior year, he would have laughed you out of the building. Off another offensive zone faceoff win, the Wildcats control. White through traffic. Gardner comes out to cut down the angle. He has been at the top of that crease all night long, and New Hampshire continues to win these faceoffs, Tom, yet they don't get good quality shots.
Boy, look at these shots on net right now. But that means nothing to the coaches or the players. What they're looking at is the board. And Niagara leading by a 2-goal spread here right now. You saw that last shot by White, how quickly he got the shot away. And once again, Greg Gardner right on the doorstep, knocking the puck down and no rebound. He's right down on top of it.
Both coaches glancing up at the center ice scoreboard. One saying, I can't believe there's still 8:24 left. And the other saying, I can't believe there's only 8:24 left. Sadowski and Isherwood on the faceoff in the Niagara zone. New Hampshire has been brilliant on offensive zone faceoffs, but Isherwood finally gets one for Niagara. McKenzie, second chance. Isherwood, very clever with that stick, is able to move it out to center. If you're saying to yourself, my goodness, Niagara plays with a lot of poise. 13 seniors, average age 23. This team has been around. And although this is their first opportunity in the national spotlight under the bright lights of the NCAA tournament, they have played together for 4 years and they have won a lot of hockey games.
Boy, this Isherwood can really handle the puck. Sean, when you watch him, he's 23 years of age, made the All-CHA first team. But I'll tell you, he's very unselfish. He knows what he has to do in his position out there, and that's lead this team. And he has done that.
And there are probably a lot of coaches whose teams are not in the NCAA tournament watching these games going, where were we 4 years ago when Mike Isherwood and Kyle Martin and Peter DeSantis and Chris McKenzie were available? Not to mention the goaltender Greg Gardner. Gare across the line, turns it over. Easily stripped by Handrahan. How solid has Nate Handrahan been in this game?
Boy, you know what? There's certain players you can pick out here, and Handrahan being one of those guys that just plays very solidly defensively. Won't take the puck up a lot of times, but he'll make sure that he's in the right position to thwart the efforts of the opposition. He gets in front of the puck. He gets his stick in front of it. He uses his body. He's got some size. And that's what makes his team so successful, is the fact that they have played so well collectively.
Wildcats are able to gain the offensive zone, but they don't have possession. It's a funny hop on Gardner. That might give Gare an opportunity, but not tonight it won't. Another icing against Niagara.
Yeah.
College hockey fans, I want you to grab a pen or a pencil right now. We've got some important phone numbers for you, and you know how difficult it can be to get tickets to the championships. Well, next year, the East Regional will be back at the Centrum in Worcester, where they have had some great regionals. The number on your screen, 508-931-2000 for ticket information. Grand Rapids, Michigan will host the West Regional next year. See the number on your screen. 616-387-8092. And, of course, the Frozen Four next year will be in Albany, New York. Matter of fact, in a couple of years, in 2003, Blaise McDonald's Niagara University Club will host the Frozen Four at Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo. And for those of you who follow college hockey very closely, you know there is a possibility, and certainly we're all hoping that the tournament is expanded to 16 for next year. Those two sites will still host regionals, even if the tournament goes to 16. So you're safe going after those tickets. Cordero for New Hampshire. Austin holds it in. New Hampshire has had plenty of time to work on offense, but Niagara has been so sound defensively, they have not given them those second opportunities that so often result in goals. When they did, Hadar made him pay with New Hampshire's only goal. That came in minute number 2 of this third period. Hemingway rolls it in deep for Pruden. Again, attack zone time, no shots for UNH. Cordero goes down, no call. Truelson puts it on Gardner. He makes another stop. Sebastian clears. Another icing.
Out again, down the ice, get a change, get a face-off. You know, you look at defensemen, how they handle the puck in their own zone, but the one key back for the Purple Eagles is the play of Greg Gardner, who handles so well. And as I said before, 9 assists in 2 years. Sean, 5 this year, 4 last year. I mean, he just continues to be like a fifth defenseman back in that area.
Niagara, like a fighter that won the first couple of rounds, and they are just trying to stay away and get the clock down to 0. Sadowski on the faceoff for UNH against Mike Isherwood. Another offensive zone faceoff win. Stafford shot saved Gardner. When is one of these faceoff losses going to backfire on Niagara? Amazing that it has not happened through the game's first 54 minutes. Makala rolls it around the wall. White keeps it in. Shapolsky point blank chipped it wide. The best look UNH has had all night.
Well, it was, but once again, they cannot connect. And when the chances come, and there's not many of them, you've got to be able to bury it. And they could not do that. And as a result, the score remains the same. You watch here, White takes a shot from the point. Watch the little deflection right here, just wide of the target. You see Gardner moving over there, too. He was pretty well in touch with what was happening here. Wasn't much room there, but there was some area. But Susan not able to connect to put it into where he wanted to.
Jason Shapolsky playing with stitches in his right eye. Took a hit from Brooks Orpik of Boston College last week in their semifinal loss to BC at the Fleet Center in Boston. New Hampshire and BC this year have been among the top teams in the top 5 really all year long, yet neither won the regular season or the conference title in Hockey East. That's how tough that conference was. Swain wins the faceoff again, back to Enders. Hadar deflects it wide. I mean, New Hampshire is dominating on faceoffs. Kyle Martin tried to sneak behind the defense. He's got it now. Gets some help from Kasparek. Martin didn't miss by much. Niagara only 2 shots in this third period. Hadar neutralized. Andrew Hanlon turns it over. Hadar wheels it out in front. Gare is robbed by Gardner.
Oh, and Gare had the best chance right there, but could not pump it in.
Save number 30 for Greg Gardner was the best of the night. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship.
He does it. Saves he's made 30 out of 31. Pretty good percentage for a guy who is number 2 in the nation goals against this year at 1.49.
The biggest save in Niagara hockey history he just made on Lanny Gare off the faceoff. Jake Kasperek is going to break in. Kasperek, save made by Conklin. The Wildcats stay alive. Ty Conklin had a rough go in this game for a couple of reasons. Here is Shapolsky with a shot save. Gardner, fat rebound. Only purple sweaters there. Martin moves it out to center. Carrying through is DeSantis. All seniors on this line for Niagara. They can smell the quarterfinals now.
You may see some breaks by Niagara right now because the Wildcats have got to take some chances moving everybody up ice whenever they get the opportunity to see if they can get something into that net.
Handrahan pulls it off the stick of Sadowski. Niagara now in counter-punch mode. The Wildcats will have to gamble with the clock winding down. Marshall puts it to the middle. Knocked down by White. Begin the New Hampshire rush. Cordero has Hemingway. Hemingway into the Niagara zone. Drops it for the trailer. That's the defenseman White. Pinching in. Hemingway has a man. Stafford walking in. The freshman has it blocked on the way. Rebound by Wall. Second chance. Trickles just wide. Inches away. And the net has come off.
Well, that's not all. There's a couple of helmets, I think, coming off at the same time. And as you take a look at Timmy Walsh right now, the senior forward weighs in 197 pounds. He was just going for that net, trying to make something happen, and could not. Opportunities seem to be coming towards the Wildcats, but once again, that young man has been a force for the Purple Eagles. Watch right here. Down. Right now he's not quite sure where the puck is, but he's still in position. There's another save. I mean, everyone is taking shots at him, but he cannot put it in. And Hemingway in there also with a good opportunity. Boy, there's no question the Wildcats right now are really pressing. They've got time to do it here. You got 4:11 to go in the third period.
Gardner has stopped 33 of 34. Dick Umile looks up at a clock that reads 4:11 remaining. And his team trailing by 2. UNH really misses David Bush and Corey Joe Feisig. There are a couple of players that can stir it up. Off another offensive zone face-off win. The shot by Austin sails by. This has been extraordinary dominance on face-offs by UNH. Austin through traffic. There will be no rebound. Not on this night.
And that's one thing that Gardner's so good at, making sure when he traps that puck, he does not give that rebound. Puck, he's one of those players also that hits the pads. It's very soft. It just seems to drop in front of him, not allowing that rebound to go up to 4, 5, 6 feet to where his opponents can get that second shot away.
Sean Austin probably getting close to 30 minutes of ice time in this game. New Hampshire defensively, they've only allowed 15 shots. But this game changed after the first 7 minutes in which UNH dominated. And the freshman Randy Harris on a rush down the left wing had a shot deflect in off a UNH defender, Matt Swain, past Ty Conklin. Niagara had the lead. They had confidence. They knew they belonged. They felt they belonged, and they have played like it. And cannot be a better team in the country than playing with a lead than Niagara. Something that no doubt Dean Blaze and the Fighting Sioux of North Dakota have taken note of this evening. Isherwood and Swain on the draw. Swain wins another one. Back to Enders. The shot is blocked. How many of these face-off bullets can the Purple Eagles dodge? Conklin will leave it go for Lynn. Clock continues to roll. Turnover. Isherwood to the middle. Salonen looking for a second of the game, trying to put it away. The New Hampshire season is hanging by a thread right now. Landy Gare for Hadar, putting it to the middle, easily controlled by Salonen. Looking for Isherwood, knocked down. Clever play with the stick by Hadar. Rolls it back in. Handrahan sends it right back out. John Heffernan will go in and chase. One-on-one against Lynn. Heffernan will run some more time off that clock. They may do better than that. Savonen's shot was blocked on a sprawling play by Dan Enders. Chalk that one up in your scorecard if UNH can make a miracle comeback. Sadowski through center, turned away at the line. Heffernan rolls it back in. 3 minutes to go. New Hampshire has never led. Niagara rarely this year has trailed. Less than 20% of the time has Niagara been behind in a game. They have never trailed here. Kyle Martin clears to center. How many more clears will it take for Niagara to get to the quarterfinals? Sadowski brings it in. Souza is offside.
Well, very choppy once again. No good opportunities coming in the part of the Wildcats. And as you talked about before, Sean, the fact that all they're doing is take it, dump it, dump it, dump it, and it doesn't make for a very exciting game to watch. At the same time, it gives them some direction and also gives them some confidence. This is how they won most of this season, by playing very strong, and they're always cycling. They're never standing still. This team continues to thrive, I think, on the experience, the age of this hockey club, and they've gotten themselves to a level right now that they're, as you mentioned before too, just trying to win this game, then go on to the next game and trying to get to the Frozen Four.
Blaze McDonald is only 10, 11 years older than most of his players. Andrew Hand with some help will get it out through center. The clock ticking louder now in Durham, New Hampshire. Walsh, pinpoint pass, has Cordero, but Handrahan is there again. What a brilliant night Nate Handrahan, the senior, has had. Scott McDonald pushes it ahead, too far for Randy Harris, where the clock keeps rolling. Cook was touched with a stick above the shoulder, so we'll bring the faceoff back into the New Hampshire zone with 2:07 to go. At what point, Tom Reed, do we watch Ty Conklin in the New Hampshire net?
Well, they're having trouble scoring. I think you're probably looking at about a minute and 30 seconds. Pull them out a little bit earlier than some coaches would like to do so. They've got to score some goals if they want their season to continue. And Mickey Miller right now knows full well that, boys, we've only scored one goal. We talked that Niagara does not give up a lot of goals, less than 2 a game. That's, once again, the proof here that this team is a very solid defensive hockey club.
29 wins for Niagara this year. The shots on goal have been voluminous for New Hampshire, but not many of them have been of the quality variety. They have won face-offs, they have gotten the shots on goal, they have had a huge territorial advantage. But when Niagara got the first goal, this game changed forever. Enders having trouble with the forecheck of Savonin. Savonin has the 3rd Niagara goal in this game. Isherwood pressures. Sadowski will clear. Blaze McDonald mixing up his lines here. Get certain players on the ice defensively for the final 2 minutes. New Hampshire can't even get out of their own zone. Conklin doesn't want to freeze it. He wants to get it back in the offensive end. Souza will try to get it there. Conklin inches out of the New Hampshire net. Souza can't get it in deep. Isherwood has it, but the New Hampshire net is empty. It sneaks in behind White. Savonin makes the move. Savonin into the empty net. This is no Cinderella team. Cinderella wore white. This is a blue-collar team from Western New York that is going to the Elite Eight.
Well, you're absolutely right, and what a nice move by Savonin also. So often when you've got the puck, possession of the puck, and you see that open, you want to shoot it right away, but he just took the time right here. You watch as the puck comes out of the zone. The goaltender at that point, Ty Conklin, has been pulled out of the zone, out of the net, and coming across here was Matt Swain, and you can see Savonin just kind of dodge Swain, pulls it back. Instead of shooting it too quickly, he pulls it back, waits till he has full view of that net, and he just makes no mistake about it. He puts it into the net. That goal, he opened that goal, his 24th of the season, and the assist on that will go to number 8, Makala, who's had a very strong segment and entire game for this hockey club. This Purple Eagles team is a team to be reckoned with.
It will be a heart-wrenching defeat for New Hampshire, another in the NCAA Tournament. Their season again took a downturn in the month of February. Great seniors on this team. Hemingway trying to force it. He was touched with a stick above the shoulder. Faceoff might come out of the zone. UNH won 23 games this year, but they suffered injuries late in the year. A loss in the semifinal game to Boston College of the Hockey East Tournament, and you just started to get the feeling at New Hampshire, who will end up winning only 5 of their final 16 games, that this was not going to be their year in the national tournament after coming so close to winning it all a year ago.
Yeah, and they have done a tremendous job. They are one of the powerhouses, no question. This team has been around before. They know how distasteful losing is. They've lost some very tight games in tournament play in the years past, and this, I think, doesn't bode well also because of the fact that they're playing against a team who gets into the tournament for the first time and yet has played exceptionally well.
Cruz goes in deep. Hampshire looking for anything. Trulson fires. It is blocked. Another shot block. They are still blocking them in minute 60. Niagara. As Kyle Martin How fitting would this be? Martin across the line. He will dump it in deep. They will get their 30th win of the year. The Purple Eagles of Blaise McDonald. 4 years ago, there was no hockey at Niagara. 2 years ago, they were still playing some conference games outdoors. Now, in 10 seconds, Niagara will be among the final 8 teams playing in all of college hockey.
Well, they have played very well, and especially in their own zone when they do the things, the little things that mean so much. The blocking the shots, taking players out, grabbing a stick here and there when they have to. You know, just getting in front of the opposition, not getting that freedom to move in. The one thing they're very good at also is moving the puck out of their zone. When they get the puck behind the net, a lot of times they'll just take it off to the side. They've got a center iceman between the blue line and the red line. They make that long pass, and all of a sudden the momentum shifts the other way.
We will see so many of the top teams this weekend, but for now it is move over BU, move over BC, move over Michigan. There is a new order in the college hockey world, and the Purple Eagles of Niagara are a part of it. A stunning 4-1 domination of the University of New Hampshire puts the unknowns from Western New York into the Elite Eight.
Well, even coming off the bench, they did it with such poise. They did not jump like this is the championship. They know this is the step to the championship, perhaps. They want to get to the Frozen Four. This is the first rung on that ladder that they have to step on to get there.
Dick Umili and UNH have had their opportunities before. Their opportunities will come again, but tonight belongs to Greg Gardner, 34 saves, and the Purple Eagles of Niagara, who advance in convincing fashion. Blaise McDonald will play at least one more game. They will meet North Dakota tomorrow night. 2 goals in the first period, 1 in the second, and the empty net goal ends it here in the third. Niagara beats New Hampshire by a final of 4-1. We'll wrap this one up, and we'll look ahead to Boston College and Michigan State when we return to Mariucci Arena. You're watching NCAA Productions coverage of the 2000 Ice Hockey Championship. Selection committee now. The Purple Eagles of Niagara, in convincing fashion, have knocked off the national powerhouse from the University of New Hampshire in the first game of the NCAA Hockey Tournament by a final of 4-1. Sean Grady, Tom Reed, back upstairs at Mariucci Arena, and with what we have just witnessed, I don't believe there are upsets in the NCAA tournament. I think the best 12 teams are here, and certainly on any given night applies. But there are statement games, and a game in which Niagara University has put their program squarely on the map in college hockey.
Well, they have, Sean. The thing is, when you get to this level, one game makes a big difference. You want to have your A game when you step in here. Blaise McDonald said, we need our players to be at their very best. They were in this contest. They never gave up very much in front of the netminder. Gardner was one of those guys who can make the big saves when necessary, but they can put the puck in the net. I think they're a team that will be reckoned with in years to come also, but this is the year right now they feel they have something to do with it, and they're going to have a very tough opponent tomorrow, but you can bet they'll be ready.
They will face North Dakota, the WCHA champions, tomorrow night, but still to come tonight, the marquee matchup of the first round. How about Boston College and Michigan State?
I tell you, these two teams have met before. They know what it's like, and it doesn't matter what the series has been. You look at MSU, they've won 7 of the last 8 meetings, but State is a sound team. Their opponents are a sound team. You can bet that both these teams will be ready, and that when you look at a game like this, anything can happen.
As compelling a story as Niagara was, obviously as a neutral zone trapping team, not a lot of end-to-end. We didn't see a lot of skill on display. We certainly will in Game 2 with BC and Michigan State.
Well, we will. I think you'll see a much more physical game. These two teams are very solid up front. They've got good, solid goaltending, and I think you'll see some more explosive power coming from both of those clubs than we saw in the first game.
But for the moment, relish it in Western New York. The Purple Eagles of Niagara University are on to the Elite Eight in their first ever appearance in the NCAA Tournament. In convincing fashion, Greg Gardner and Niagara knock off the University of New Hampshire 4-1. We'll see you in about an hour for BC and Michigan State. For Tom Reed, I'm Sean Grady. We'll see you back here at Mariucci Arena in about an hour.
We know.
Up in the second corner, everybody's saving it, but somebody is way up high on the racetrack. It's Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart, I would guess, got down in the corner, and look at all these. Got a little room now. Come on. All these cars going by, so Tony now has to try to work his way back to the front.
Take a breath now.
Take a breath.
back in the 11th position now.
He's running fourth, lost 7 spots. But it's not only the 7 spots that he lost, it's all those lap cars that are now between him and the third place car he was racing with.
But the good news is he saved it, did not crash, and so the car is okay. We presume.
There's Jerry Nadeau that he's going by on the outside. A new paint job this week for Nadeau.
He's 20th, a lap down. John Andretti goes to the inside of Ken Schrader. There's Jarrett. From Rusty Wallace's onboard camera, we'll get an indication of what happened to Tony Stewart. He's off to the right.
Wow. Down on the inside, when you're going alongside a car, going in the corner, you don't have that wall of air to lean against that you normally have. Rusty Wallace was blocking that wall of air, and Tony goes down the corner. This time, without that air to lean against, he lost the back end, almost spun.
Trying to pick up a spot here. We're on board with Jeremy Mayfield, and Tony trying to pass Jeremy for the 10th position, trying to work his way back into the top 10. 100 laps to go, 150 complete. Up front, it is Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin now with third place